Chapter 3186. Book 1. Chapter 131. Zhao Fu sensed that the elder had snuck in and slammed out with his palm, sending a massive wave of energy towards the elder. The elder crashed to the ground and coughed up a large mouthful of blood. The ice demon asked, "What is it?" Zhao Fu said, "Just now, someone tried to sneak in. I don't know who it was, but I've heavily injured him." The ice demon put on her clothes and the two of them went to the courtyard outside the room, where they saw the elder on the ground. "It's you." The ice demon's expression became cold. She recognized the elder's identity. The elder's expression was quite unsightly as he stared at Zhao Fu and said, "Who are you?" The elder had never thought that the queen's residence would have such a terrifying expert. Even with his strength, he had not been able to block a single attack. Zhao Fu laughed as he said, "Me? Take a guess." The elder coldly harumphed, "You're the person who helped the queen, right? I advise you to stay out of this. This is the Ice Origin Kingdom's internal affairs." Zhao Fu laughed as he said, "So what if I get involved?" The elder coldly said, "You'll definitely pay the price." Zhao Fu laughed as he raised his hand, preparing to kill the elder. The ice demon stopped Zhao Fu and said, "Don't kill him yet, he's still useful." Hearing this, Zhao Fu held onto the ice demon and hugged her. Seeing this, the elder cried out in shock, "You shameless couple!" Zhao Fu lightly laughed and waved his hand, sending out a wave of energy that sent the elder flying. Following this, the ice demon had Zhao Fu hide and called over Bing Qixue, saying, "Look at this yourself. This person is your royal father's most trusted person, and it was him who poisoned us. Are you still going to speak up for your royal father?" Bing Qixue looked at the elder with a complicated expression and did not say anything. The elder hurriedly explained, "It wasn't His Majesty's order. I acted on my own. It has nothing to do with His Majesty. You're His Majesty's son, so you have to believe in His Majesty." The ice demon looked at Bing Qixue and said, "You have to declare your position. I won't tolerate you continuing like this." The old man quickly spoke up, "Your Majesty, your mother committed adultery with a man in order to seize the throne of the Ice Origin Kingdom. You must not believe it, otherwise the Ice Origin Kingdom will be finished." Bing Qixue waved his hand, and his finger gave off a cold light as he cut open the elder's throat. Blood spurted out, and the elder clutched his throat as he unwillingly fell to the ground, dead. Bing Qixue said, "I'm willing to overthrow my father." The icy charm gave a satisfied smile and said, "My good son, this is what you've been looking for. Now, prepare yourself." The icy demon returned to the room and said with a smile, "Let's start." Zhao Fu walked out and nodded with a smile. The ice-cold charm came to the palace and found the pure ice monarch as she lightly laughed and said, "Your Majesty, I'm very curious. I just obtained a snow jade deer. This is a rare delicacy. Our family can sit together and have a good meal." Looking at the poisoned icy imp, the pure ice king thought about how the icy imp would soon die, so he did not refuse and immediately said, "Sure." The princesses also received the news. The sixth princess and third princess did not know anything, so they did not think too much about it before coming over. Icy Cold Clothes frowned and said, "I don't know what the icy imp wants to do, but she faintly feels that it is not simple." In the end, she decided to go and take a look. The whole family sat on a round table covered with red cloth. On the table, there was already wine and dishes that looked, smelled good. It made people want to have a big meal. The icy demon smiled as she said, "Everyone, let's eat together. This snow jade deer's meat is quite rare." The third princess smiled as she said, The icy demon smiled as she said, "Third princess, your complexion looks quite good. It seems that you're going to recover soon, right?" The third princess thought of Zhao Fu, and her face became slightly red as she lightly nodded. The pure ice king looked at the third princess and smiled as he said, "What medicine have you been eating recently for you to recover so quickly? I'm quite surprised. I need to properly reward that doctor." The third princess's face became red as she said, I'll properly thank him. Icy Cold Clothes stared at the icy demon and said, Third princess, why did you call us here? The icy demon placed a piece of meat into Queen Bing's bowl and smiled as she said, It's nothing much. Isn't it good for everyone to have a good meal together? Icy Cold Clothes lightly harumphed, evidently not believing her, but he did not say anything. The icy demon picked up another piece of meat for the pure Ice King and smiled as she said, Your Majesty, how many years have we been husband and wife? The pure Ice King's expression froze. He could not remember, and he asked awkwardly, Why are you suddenly asking this? The icy demon smiled as she said, It's been 32 years. The pure Ice King awkwardly smiled as he nodded. It's been that many years. The icy demon poured another cup of wine for the pure Ice King and smiled as she said, Your Majesty, how many years have you been on the throne? Hearing this, the pure Ice King frowned. The other princesses also looked at the icy demon. The icy demon looked at the countless gazes and smiled as she said, Your Majesty, ever since you became king, our icy origin kingdom's strength has been declining. You've been king for so many years. Shouldn't you step down? The pure Ice King said coldly, Second princess, you're going too far. Aren't you afraid that I'll banish you to the cold palace? The icy demon lightly laughed as she said, Why would I be afraid of banishing me to the cold palace? Your Majesty, didn't you want to poison me to death? Hearing this, the other princesses all looked quite confused. The pure Ice King's expression changed as he understood that the matter had been leaked, and he immediately shouted, Men, capture the second princess. However, there was no response. This caused everyone present to feel quite startled, and they hurriedly left, planning to leave this hall. The icy demon calmly and confidently sat on the table as she smiled and said, Your Majesty, I'll give you one last chance. I'll give you one last chance. If you abdicate now, I won't kill you. The pure Ice King coldly harumphed, Stop dreaming. Since you dare to speak to me like that, second princess, you're dead. The pure Ice King did not pay any more attention to the icy demon and hurriedly ran out, worried that there might be an ambush. Outside, Bing Shanlin and the others walked in. Seeing this, the pure Ice King was overjoyed and immediately called out, Hurry and capture the second princess. Bang! A muffled sound rang out as Bing Yu punched towards the pure Ice King's chest, sending him flying and causing him to cough up a mouthful of blood. The pure Ice King looked quite confused as he said, You guys? Bing Hani's expression became quite unsightly. These people were the pure Ice King's most trusted people, so why did it seem like they had betrayed him? The icy demon lightly laughed as she said, Your Majesty, do you think you can still escape? The pure Ice King's face became pale. He had never thought that things would turn out like this. He started to panic and felt that everything was over. Bing Hu sighed as she said, Your Majesty, if you step down now, you might be able to live. Hearing this, the pure Ice King immediately said, I'm willing to step down. Don't kill me, and I'll immediately make you the new king of the Icy Origin Kingdom. Chapter 3187. Book 1, Chapter 132 translated by Hypersheep 325 edited by Mykir. It's too late. The Iceman said furiously, Do you really want to kill me? The Iceman said with a smile, I won't kill you, but I'll leave this decision to the fifth princess. Icy Cold Clothes looked quite confused. What? Leave him to me? The Iceman smiled and nodded. If you want to kill him, then kill him. If you want to let him go, then let him go. I definitely won't interfere. Icy Cold Clothes said with a cold expression, Why? The Iceman said with a smile, There's only one king in the Icy Origin Kingdom, and I don't want your son to fight for it. I don't want to act against you and your son. Right now, the power of the Icy Origin Kingdom is in my hands, and you need to understand the current situation. Icy Cold Clothes started to think. Thinking about the death of her beloved big brother, A trace of killing intent appeared in her eyes as she said, "All right. I promise you." This was already the best choice, or else they might die. However, this was not very likely, as she believed that Zhao Fu would protect them. Even though Zhao Fu was a bit fickle, he still valued them greatly. The iceman gave a satisfied smile. Icy Cold Clothes looked at the third princess and asked, "How do you plan to deal with him? Your whole family died at his hand." The third princess looked at the iceman and shook her head with a complicated expression, saying, "I don't know." Icy Cold Clothes said coldly, "I want him to pay for my big brother's death." The iceman begged, "Don't kill me. I was wrong in the past. Please give me another chance. The queen, please help me." The queen Bing who could not help but say, "Can't we let him off?" The iceman said, "That's what he says now, but if he had power, would he still do this? Do you believe what he's done all these years? Since you poisoned us to death, he'll also poison you to death." Bing Hua looked quite troubled as she said softly, "I don't care, just deal with it quickly." Icy Cold Clothes took out a sword and walked towards the iceman. The iceman hurriedly got up and ran to the side. Chi! A sword pierced through the iceman's chest, and he looked at the sword with an unwilling expression as he powerlessly fell to the ground, blood flowing all over the ground. Icy Cold Clothes pulled out her sword and smiled. "Big brother, I've finally avenged you." The other concubines looked at the dead Pure Ice King with different expressions. Killing the Pure Ice King with a single sword strike and not torturing him was already merciful. At this time, Zhao Fu walked in and said with a smile, "Have you guys settled everything?" Seeing Zhao Fu walk in, the beautiful women all gave a trace of a smile. The icy demoness smiled and said, "It's done. It's all thanks to your help. Otherwise, it would not have been so easy for me." The third princess saw that Zhao Fu was very familiar with her, and after thinking about it, she understood their relationship. She felt quite disappointed, as she had thought that Zhao Fu only had her. Icy Cold Clothes glared at Zhao Fu and snorted. "Why did you choose to help the second consort instead of me?" Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "I did it for the good of the Ice Origin Kingdom. Bing Qixue becoming the new king is something that everyone is looking forward to, and there are many more factions supporting the second consort. Choosing them will be beneficial to the stability of the Ice Origin Kingdom. In the end, the Heaven Awakened world will become more and more difficult, and Bing Qixue is more suitable. He has the ability to deal with things, but your son is a bit lacking, so having him become a king is not bad." Icy Cold Clothes said, "All right, that's enough." Zhao Fu smiled and hugged Icy Cold Clothes as he said, "How about I make it up to you?" Icy Cold Clothes' face became red and she nodded. Deep into the night, there were only a few lonely stars in the deep blue sky. The Ice Origin Kingdom was completely silent, and the night was intoxicating. Within the hall, Zhao Fu hugged the women as he smiled and said, "Now that this matter has been resolved, I'm going to return to my faction." Bing Hua said reluctantly, "You're leaving so soon? Isn't it better to stay in the Ice Origin Kingdom for a few more days?" Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "When I have time, I'll come to the Ice Origin Kingdom." Bing Xianhua lightly harumphed as she said, "Who knows when you'll be free? Moreover, your faction is so far away, and it might take half a month to go back and forth. How many days can you spend with us?" Zhao Fu lightly laughed as he said, "I'm actually someone from the ancient STEM domain." Hearing this, the women looked quite shocked, and Icy Cold Clothes said, "Aren't you an emperor? The ancient STEM domain doesn't have any empires. How can you be someone from the ancient STEM domain?" Zhao Fu loudly laughed as he said, "Have you heard of the Qin Empire?" The women looked at Zhao Fu in shock, feeling a massive blow to their hearts. Their minds went blank as their hearts rapidly thumped. The man lying next to them was the great enemy of the ancient STEM domain's many royal kingdoms and factions? Zhao Fu lightly laughed as he said, "You didn't expect this, did you?" Icy Cold Beauty smiled as she said, "Indeed, No wonder no one has been able to break into the Qin Empire. So it's because you're the ruler of the Qin Empire. You've hidden yourself too deeply. Bing Hu smiled as she said, I'm also quite surprised, but this is good for us. In the future, we won't have to worry about the threat of the Qin Empire, and you can come back to see us often. Zhao Fu smiled and nodded. Icy Cold Beauty looked at Zhao Fu and said, You bad fellow, you're not helping us out of the goodness of your heart, right? You want to take revenge on the Ice Origin Kingdom for attacking the Qin Empire, and you also want to control the Ice Origin Kingdom and get rid of an enemy faction. Icy Cold Clothes lightly harumphed as she said, I underestimated you. I thought you were just lustful. I never thought that you would be so scheming. If you didn't tell us, we would have been toyed with by you. Zhao Fu smiled as he said, I'm not telling you now because I trust you. Icy Cold Beauty smiled as she said, I don't plan on pursuing this matter. After all, you bad fellow, not only did you help us, but you're also our man. In the future, if the Ice Origin Kingdom is in danger, we'll need your help. Zhao Fu smiled and nodded, That's no problem. News quickly spread throughout the Ice Origin Kingdom that the Pure Ice King had suddenly died and passed the throne to Bing Qixue, who had become the new king. Even though the ordinary residents were quite surprised by this, they were still quite happy that Bing Qixue had become king and were willing to support him. The officials and soldiers understood that things were not so simple, and they guessed that Icy Cold Beauty had succeeded in seizing power and killed the Pure Ice King to support her son. There were many ministers who supported Bing Qixue, and now that he had devoured the Pure Ice King's faction, no one could shake the throne. Some people were angry but could only give in, while others were dissatisfied and wanted to do something. As such, the situation in the Ice Origin Kingdom was not very stable. Zhao Fu did not have time to care about these things. With Bing Qixue's abilities, he would most likely be able to handle it. On the day that Bing Qixue became the new king, Zhao Fu returned to the Qin Empire. Chapter 3188 Book 1 Chapter 133 Rumble. A group of green-armored cavalrymen gave off a massive aura as they charged towards a city wall. They instantly broke through the city wall, and the green-armored soldiers started to fight with the other soldiers. Blood flew everywhere as cries continuously sounded out. Now, the Shenmu Kingdom was attacking another alliance. As expected, this alliance was unable to defend against the Shenmu Kingdom's attack. Some people in the alliance chose to surrender. After hearing that those who surrendered to the Shenmu Kingdom were treated well, some people were unwilling and immediately chose to escape. Now there was only one alliance left, and only a third of the alliance's forces remained. Zhao Fu had just returned and heard this news, so he was not too surprised. He did not bother with this matter, and went to the other worlds to check on the situation. This was because Zhao Fu wanted to head to the water domain. If the other bases were fine, even if something happened to Qin, the other bases would be able to provide reinforcements. Moreover, with the Jin family around, they would be able to help out. There would not be 2 or 3 factions spawning near Qin. Their safety would not be too threatened. As for the final water race Imperial Star, Zhao Fu could not wait any longer. By now, the last of the allied factions were gathered together in distress. They had never thought that they would soon be destroyed by the Godwood Kingdom before being destroyed by Great Qin. They did not have any confidence in stopping the Godwood Kingdom, and they knew that they had no chance of winning. AI. What should we do now? The Shenmu Kingdom will most likely attack us soon. With our current strength, we won't be able to stop them. That's right. Let's think this through. When they attack, we'll just eat them. I don't have the heart to resist anymore. Even if we resist, we'll lose and countless people will die. Then should we submit to the Shenmu Kingdom? Yes, I think submitting to the Shenmu Kingdom is a good idea. The Shenmu Kingdom is very benevolent to us Heaven-Awakened world people, unlike the other worlds. As such, I suggest submitting to the Shenmu Kingdom. Che, have you been bribed by the Shenmue Kingdom? Why are you supporting the Shenmue Kingdom like this? I don't care. Submitting to the Shenmue Kingdom is the best choice. What else do you want? Isn't submitting to Qin good? His abilities are also from the Heaven Awaken world, and he's been there for many years. Qin has nothing to say about how he treats the residents, so we understand Qin even better. Do you know more about the Shenmue tax? Yes. Although Qin is cruel to his enemies, he is still very good to the people. It's mainly because we have known each other for so long and have a certain understanding of each other. That Shenmue Kingdom is, after all, an external force. Who knows what they will do to us in the future? But we used to be Qin's enemies. Will Qin accept us? That's right. Let's see what Qin wants to study first. If Qin is willing to take us in, that would be the best choice. Everyone nodded. I support this decision. Zhao Fu was currently in the Chaos World. Aracena looked at Zhao Fu and said, "Those people who passed with you have sent you many messages. Do you want to reply?" Zhao Fu said with a smile, "Are you asking me when I'm going back?" Aracena nodded and said, "You seem quite impatient." Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "Right now, the situation is quite special. The people in the Chaos World are all waiting for me to appear, and I don't want to appear in the Chaos World. I'm worried that something will happen, and if the Chaos World joins in attacking the Heaven Awaken world, the Heaven Awaken world will be in an even more difficult situation." Aracena asked, "Are you planning on not replying to them?" Zhao Fu smiled and nodded. Aracena rolled her eyes at Zhao Fu and said, "Did you treat us like this in the past? You knew we were in a hurry to find you, but you purposefully did not reply?" Zhao Fu lightly laughed as he said, "How could that be?" Aracena lightly harumphed. Zhao Fu went up and hugged Aracena as he said, "I'm planning on going to the water domain, and I came to say goodbye to you." Aracena nodded and said, "I know you won't be staying in Qin for too long." Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "I still have to go to other worlds, so I'll be leaving first." By now, Zhao Fu had just received news that the Alliance wanted to see him. Zhao Fu thought about it and returned to Qin. The people who had come were all ambassadors from the Alliance. Zhao Fu sat at the top of the hall and smiled as he said, "What do you all want to see me for?" A black-haired elder respectfully bowed and said, "Your Majesty, you should know that the Alliance only has 1/3 of its forces left and is powerless to stop the Divine Wood Kingdom. Any Royal Kingdom's faction can destroy us, so we've come to see you on behalf of the various factions." Zhao Fu nodded and said, "What do you want?" The black-haired elder said, "The various factions' leaders want to submit to you, but because of what happened in the past, they are hesitant and want to see your Majesty's attitude." Zhao Fu lightly laughed and said, "Submit to Qin? That's fine. I don't want to bicker with you about what happened in the past." Everyone looked delighted. They had never thought that it would be so easy. The black-haired elder said excitedly, "Is that true, Your Majesty?" Zhao Fu nodded. The black-haired elder bowed again and said with a smile, "Your Majesty is broad-minded, far-sighted, and talented. We admire you. I wonder if Your Majesty has anything else to say? If there's nothing else, we'll leave first." Zhao Fu thought for a moment and said, "There's nothing else." The black-haired elder smiled and bowed again. "Then we'll take our leave." Everyone left and immediately returned to tell the various leaders of the Alliance about the good news. Upon hearing this news, the various leaders were pleasantly surprised. Joining Qin meant that their safety would be guaranteed. In the future, they would no longer have to worry like before. If they were unlucky, they might be captured by other worlds as slaves, resulting in an even more tragic outcome. It was hard to imagine that the Alliance, which had allied together to resist Qin, was now begging to join Qin. If they knew about the situation in the future, would they have chosen to join earlier? The various factions started to prepare for a mass migration. Some unnecessary things were abandoned, and some buildings were destroyed so that they could not be left to the people of other world. However, most of the houses, castles, and palaces were not destroyed because it took too much effort and money to build. In the future, as Qin expanded, they might come back. The buildings that were destroyed were mostly defensive structures. The Divine Wood Kingdom naturally knew about such a large movement. A general immediately said that he would lead the Divine Wood Kingdom's army to intercept them, or else they would head to Qin. However, Divine Wood Kingdom Duan did not agree and was thinking, because those factions were too scattered, they needed a large number of soldiers to intercept them. If Qin suddenly attacked from the other side, it would cause massive losses to the Divine Wood Kingdom. When he had just arrived, he had heard about how terrifying the Qin Empire was. As such, he did not dare to be careless when facing Qin. Chapter 3189. Book 1, Chapter 134 inches the end. Divine Wood Duan did not give the order to stop them. Now that the alliance was gone, the Divine Wood Nation Medicine would have to face Qin. This matter needed to be discussed and future plans needed to be made. Divine Wood Duan summoned a few leaders of the alliance and told them in detail about Qin. Some of them flattered and said that the Divine Wood Nation was very powerful. Although Qin had some power, it could be easily destroyed. They also said that Divine Wood Duan was the true master of this land. Divine Wood Duan naturally did not believe these words. After hearing the details about Qin and learning everything about Qin, Divine Wood Duan was shocked. He had underestimated Qin and began to respect Qin's son. With his ability, he admitted that he could not reward such a powerful empire in 20 years. On Qin's side, they were also worried that the Divine Wood Nation would attack the people who were moving Qin. There were too many of them. There were not only soldiers, but there were also commoners who could not fight. Furthermore, they were carrying many things, so their progress was slow. If they suddenly attacked the Divine Wood Nation, it would cause these factions to suffer heavy losses. Qin had also sent an army to receive them. Thankfully, the Divine Wood Nation did not attack. Qin's army brought those factions back to Qin one after another. With Qin's support, the factions felt more at ease. They entered Qin with smiles. In the hall, the leaders bowed to Zhao Fu. "Greetings, Your Majesty." Zhao Fu smiled and nodded. "Welcome to Qin. I have already ordered people to prepare a banquet to welcome all of you." Everyone smiled. "Thank you, Your Majesty," said a coquettish woman at the banquet with a smile. "I originally thought that Your Majesty was very terrifying. Now that we have interacted with each other, I realize that Your Majesty is very good. We should enter Qin earlier." Upon hearing this, the leaders of the other factions smiled and nodded. Everyone had heard of how brutal Qin was and how terrifying Qin's master was. They had always been afraid of Zhao Fu. Now that they had interacted with Zhao Fu and tore apart the mysterious veil, they realized that Zhao Fu was not as terrifying as the rumors said. Their previous worries seemed unnecessary. "Your Majesty, let me offer you a toast," the charming woman said with a smile. Zhao Fu smiled as he picked up a cup and drank it in one gulp. The other leaders also drank the wine in their cup. A middle-aged man asked, "Your Majesty, what's Qin going to do next? Will he confront the Shenmu kingdom head-on?" Everyone looked at Zhao Fu. They were more concerned about this issue. Zhao Fu said with a smile, "Qin does not intend to expand. If the Divine Wood Kingdom dares to attack, then Qin will fight back." The situation in the Heaven-awakened world was not suitable for expansion, as the larger one's territory was, the weaker one's control would be. Qin's main task was to develop and solidify his strength. The middle-aged man asked, "How confident is Your Majesty in dealing with the Divine Wood Kingdom?" Everyone was a little nervous. They had just joined Qin, and if Qin was destroyed by the Divine Wood Kingdom, then they would have made the wrong choice. Zhao Fu lightly laughed. "I, Qin, did not even fear the allied armies of the various kingdoms, so why would I fear the Divine Wood Kingdom? To you, the Divine Wood Kingdom is incredibly powerful, but it is nothing to Qin. If he dares to attack, it will be his death. Hearing this, everyone felt at ease and smiled. That was right, even the alliance of so many kingdoms in the ancient stem domain had not been able to destroy Qin, so how could the divine Wood Kingdom destroy Qin? Everyone toasted to Zhao Fu. After the banquet ended, Zhao Fu headed to another world's base to complete some things that he had not been able to do before. In the end, Zhao Fu returned to the Heaven-Awakened world and thought of something before going to the underworld. The underworld and godly world were also being attacked by the card world and alchemy world, but the numbers were much smaller. Qin's bases in the godly world and underworld had not been attacked yet. The reason why Zhao Fu came here was because he had suddenly remembered that he had not come to see his 12 skeleton cavalrymen in a long, long time. Right now, the 12 skeleton cavalrymen were at the bottom of the Yellow Springs, absorbing Yellow Springs' power to grow. Zhao Fu came above the Yellow Springs and waved his hand, causing a wave of law energy to spread out. The massive Yellow Springs River automatically parted, revealing the bottom of the Yellow Springs. The 12 skeleton cavalrymen sat cross-legged together, while the 12 skeleton warhorses stood guard. The skeleton cavalrymen had gone through great changes. Their bones seemed to be platinum, and their armor had become platinum with pictures of the Yellow Springs on them. Their weapons had also become platinum, and there were many mutilated corpses engraved on them. The soul flames in their heads had become platinum, and they seemed to have an eternal and undying aura. The auras that the 12 skeleton cavalrymen gave off were also quite terrifying. They were far more powerful than when Zhao Fu had come to see them last time. They continuously absorbed Yellow Springs' power and raised it to the limit. Zhao Fu gave a trace of a smile. These skeleton cavalrymen had made great contributions to Qin, and Zhao Fu had not forgotten about them. The 12 skeleton cavalrymen's soul flames flickered as they looked up at Zhao Fu and respectfully knelt on one knee as they said, "King!" They no longer sounded as clumsy and sluggish as before, and their voices now contained a boundless deathly aura, as if they were from hell. When they saw Zhao Fu this time, they felt a massive impact in their hearts because they could sense that Zhao Fu had become even more terrifying. Even though their strength had increased by so much, Zhao Fu still gave them a feeling that he was unreachable. Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "You've all grown quite well, continue to cultivate. I just came to see you, is there anything else?" The skeleton cavalryman said, "King, when will we be able to return to the battlefield?" Zhao Fu thought for a moment before smiling as he said, "Qin is no longer the Qin from back then. If you want to return to the battlefield, you need to break the signs of your power and allow your power to enter the next stage. Only then will I allow you to return." The skeleton cavalryman said, "Yes." Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "Continue to cultivate." Zhao Fu waved his hand, and the Yellow Springs started to merge again. The skeleton cavalrymen once again sat cross-legged on the ground and began to absorb the Yellow Springs' power. They desired to fight, to kill, and to die. They wanted to break through to the next realm as soon as possible. After seeing the 12 skeleton cavalrymen, Zhao Fu returned to Qin and prepared to head to the Water Realm. However, something disrupted Zhao Fu's plans, because another faction had spawned near Qin, and it was an alchemy faction. After this alchemy faction appeared, it was not in a hurry to attack, and it first gathered information. Now there were 4 factions in this area. Qin was a native, while the other 3 were other factions. Zhao Fu also sent people to gather information on this alchemy faction. After hearing about this, Divine Wood Duan frowned because this also disrupted his plans. Chapter 3190. Book 1. Chapter 135 translated by Hypersheep 325 edited by Mykir. This alchemist family was called the Feng family, and it was a royal kingdom-level family. Its holy beast was a type of bluebird, and even though its attack power was quite average, it seemed to have some sort of special ability. The person in charge of this operation was the Feng family's young master, Wind on Snow. Perhaps it was because of Qin, but the appearance of so many royal kingdom-level factions at the edge of a world was quite unusual. The Feng family was quite cautious, and did not stupidly charge at Qin like the other factions. Otherwise, Qin would have shown them what it felt like to feel pain. Zhao Fu and his subordinates were discussing the Feng family's matters. The Feng family was also gathering their elders to discuss this matter. This region made the Feng family feel quite strange. The Feng family's faction was not weak, and it should have spawned in the central region. Why had it appeared here? This region was quite big, but there were only 3 factions. 2 of them were factions from other worlds, and the last one was a local faction in the Heaven Awaken world. What was even more strange was that this local faction seemed to have allied with the Alchemist world's faction. Weren't they enemies? How could they have allied with it? A tall, slim, and wise-looking woman called Feng Linghui said, "I feel that this Qin is quite special and has shocking power. We have to be careful when dealing with him." The voluptuous woman called Feng Jiao lightly laughed as she said, "That's not necessarily the case. Perhaps this faction is trying to ally with another alchemist faction, which is why they've survived. Otherwise, they would have been destroyed long ago." A beautiful woman with a haughty aura, Feng Yumin, said, "I think so too. Otherwise, how could there only be one Heaven Awaken world faction in such a large region?" The beautiful woman with a seductive figure, Feng Xiaoxiao, said, "The key is that he's our only target. Apart from him, we can only attack 2 other factions or go further away to find Heaven Awaken world factions." A beautiful woman with a fit and bright figure, Feng Xiaoyang, said, "Also, it won't be easy to get rid of him because he's allied with another alchemist faction. If we attack him, we'll have to face another alchemist faction." A beautiful woman with fair skin and a cold and alluring aura, Feng Yintian, said, "I think we should retreat and respawn somewhere else." The beautiful woman wearing a white dress, Feng Lingyao, said, "If we go back like this, not only will the Feng clan lose face, but we will also be punished by the rules. This will be disadvantageous to us." The last one was Feng Lingyu, a beautiful woman with a graceful figure. She looked up at Wind on Snow and asked, "Young master, what do you think? Do you want to stay here or return to the alchemy world?" A cold beauty sat on top. She was Wind on Snow. She pondered and said, "I want to see what's so special about this Qin. This is also the first time I'm leading you into a world war. I don't want to go back like this." Hearing this, the crowd did not say anything. They did not know what they were going to face next. The Jin family received a message, saying, "The Feng family asked the Jin family to give up the alliance with Qin. After Qin is killed, the Jin family can give half of it to the Jin family." Jin Tai came to Zhao Fu as soon as he heard the news. He knew that the Feng family had not figured out the situation yet. It was not that Qin begged the Jin family not to fight, but that the Jin family was afraid of Qin. Jin Tai already knew that the Jin family was no match for Qin. "Your Majesty, what do you think?" Jin Tai looked at Zhao Fu nervously and asked. At this moment, Jin Tai knew that Zhao Fu was already an emptiness realm expert. He admired Zhao Fu even more. Zhao Fu smiled and said, "Promise her that the Feng family will attack Qin. Then Qin will hold the Feng family back. The Jin family will attack from the back. Strive to destroy the Feng family." Jin Tai smiled and said, "Your Majesty is wise." The Feng family soon received the news. Jin Tai promised that he was willing to dissolve the alliance with Qin. He was also willing to retreat the army a certain distance away and promise not to interfere with the war. Feng Xiaoyang smiled and said, "Young lord, we will immediately gather the army and attack Qin." Feng Xiaoxiao smiled and said, "I heard that the master of Qin is quite fond of women. After Qin is killed, let me play with him." Feng Lingyao snorted and said, "A scourge like him should be castrated. Who would want to keep him?" Feng Linghui advised seriously, "Young lord, don't be in a hurry to attack. The Jin family agreed too easily. They might be plotting something." Feng Xiaoxiao smiled and said, "They don't have to do anything and they can have half of Qin. Who wouldn't be willing? I think you're thinking too much." Feng Lingyu said, "I don't think we need to worry too much. The alchemy world and the heaven awakened world are enemies. Why would two enemies form an alliance?" Feng Yumin smiled and said, "I think we can attack. With the Feng family's strength, even if they are plotting something, we can deal with it." Seeing that Wind on Snow was still unwilling to attack, Feng Linghui called out, "Young lord." Wind on Snow said in a low voice, "Let's wait a little longer." It seemed that Wind on Snow was still very cautious and was not in a hurry to attack. She felt that this was quite strange. On the other side, Qin and the Jin family were ready and waiting for the Feng family to attack. However, the Feng family did not move at all. Zhao Fu asked Jin Tai to send someone to ask. The Feng family's reply was, "Don't be in a hurry to attack Qin. We need to take it step by step. Their agreement is still valid." He felt that he had been tricked by the Feng family. Zhao Fu felt quite angry and wanted to take the initiative to attack. Shimu Duan's original plan was to digest this region and then attack Qin. He was not too willing to attack the Alchemy World faction because there were no benefits. After hearing that the Feng family was going to attack Qin, he was quite happy to see this happen. He wanted to use this opportunity to destroy the three factions and become the overlord of this region. However, the Feng family did not attack, which made him quite disappointed. Now, Shimu Duan would not attack first. He wanted to see what would happen next. Zhao Fu thought about it and asked Jin Tai to negotiate with the Feng family to see if he could gain their trust. Zhao Fu understood that the Feng family would not be easy to deal with. The Feng family knew that Jin Tai wanted to negotiate and did not refuse. They wanted to understand what kind of faction the Jin family was so that they could better defend against them. However, for safety's sake, Wind on Snow sent Feng Linghui to negotiate with the Jin family. Feng Linghui was Wind on Snow's most trusted person. She should be able to handle this matter well and give Wind on Snow a good explanation. Under Feng Linghui's suggestion, Wind on Snow purposely leaked this secret information to Qin so that the Jin family and Qin family would have an internal conflict. Zhao Fu saw through all of their schemes and gave a disdainful smile. He immediately made some small movements as if he was on guard against the Jin family, making the Feng family feel quite pleased. Chapter 3191. Book 1, Chapter 136. Feng Linghui took a team of soldiers to the Jin family's base and observed the surroundings. Feng Linghui was quite surprised and felt that the Jin family was not weak. However, with the Jin family's strength, it should be easy for them to destroy Qin. Why did they choose to destroy Qin instead of Qin? What was the reason? Feng Linghui was quite confused, and she felt that she could figure it out this time. The Jin family had no reason to hide this from Feng Linghui. They came to a large hall. Jin Tai looked at Feng Linghui and said, "Why are you alone? Why didn't the Feng family's master come? Does he look down on the Jin family?" Feng Linghui smiled as she said, "It's not convenient for our young master to leave. I'm her most trusted person and can make some decisions on her behalf. I'll tell our young master the truth about this negotiation. Please forgive us." Jin Tai said angrily, "The Jin family has retreated far away. Why didn't you attack? We lost face and Qin is suspicious of us." Feng Linghui smiled as she said, "I'm very sorry. We didn't think it through. I've brought a gift to apologize to you." The guards immediately carried out boxes of jewelry. Jin Tai said calmly, "I won't make a fuss about it this time. I hope you won't do it again." Feng Linghui smiled as she said, "I won't." Jin Tai asked, "How do you plan to attack Qin?" "The Jin family will cooperate with you." Feng Linghui smiled and did not answer. Instead, she smiled as she asked, I'm a bit confused. Why did the Jin family ally with Qin instead of destroying Qin? I believe that with the Jin family's strength, they can dominate a region. Jin Tai thought to himself, the Feng family doesn't know how monstrous Qin is. The Jin family's strength is not enough. If it wasn't for the fact that the Jin family is of some value to Qin, they would have been destroyed by Qin long ago. Jin Tai would not say these things, and he did not know how to answer Feng Linghui's question. Zhao Fu walked in and smiled as he said, I can sue you. Feng Linghui looked at the cloaked man and asked curiously, Who are you? Jin Tai said with a smile, He is Qin's master. Feng Linghui's expression changed drastically when she heard this. Why has the master of Qin's state appeared here? Feng Linghui soon remembered everything. From the beginning, the Jin family had no intention to break the alliance with Qin. Instead, they had been setting up a trap to destroy the Feng family. Fortunately, the Feng family did not attack, or the result would be unimaginable. Now, Feng Linghui also understood that she could not escape. Without panicking, he calmly asked, What's your purpose in doing this? Zhao Fu said with a smile, What purpose could there be? It's as simple as destroying your Feng clan. Jin Tai also said with a smile, With Qin's power, how could your Feng clan resist? You'd better surrender to Qin as soon as possible, or you'll suffer. Feng Linghui was shocked. With the power of the Jin family, they were flattering Qin. This Qin's power was not ordinary. It was almost the same as she had expected. Now, she understood why an alchemist faction would ally with a Heaven Awakened World faction. The Heaven Awakened World faction was simply too powerful, and the alchemist faction was forced to ally with a Heaven Awakened World faction. Feng Linghui said, With your Jin family's power, you might not be able to destroy Qin, but with our two families' power, we should be able to destroy Qin. We're both alchemist factions, so we're on the same side. I can understand that you're under pressure, but you need to know that Qin is just using you. He'll make a move against you sooner or later. Hearing this, Jin Tai understood this and felt quite conflicted. Zhao Fu looked at Jin Tai. This caused Jin Tai to stop thinking and he called out, Don't try to deceive me with your lies. The alliance between the Jin family and Qin's state is unbreakable. Feng Linghui frowned. Just how powerful was Qin for the Jin family's young master to be so afraid? Zhao Fu said in satisfaction, Don't worry, if there's no need, I won't act against the Jin family. You can leave now. Jin Tai heaved a sigh of relief and left the hall. Zhao Fu smiled as he walked towards Feng Linghui. A group of soldiers stood in front of Feng Linghui. Feng Linghui said, What do you want to do to me? With a smile, Zhao Fu waved his hand, and a huge force sent the soldiers flying. They fell to the ground and fainted. Feng Linghui's expression turned ugly. The strength of the master of Qin's state wasn't just ordinary. Now that she thought about it, the most obvious choice for the Feng family was to leave this area. However, no one would have thought that a monster like Qin would be in the border region. Zhao Fu walked up to Feng Linghui. Feng Linghui looked at Zhao Fu coldly. Zhao Fu gave a trace of a smile and lifted Feng Linghui's chin. Feng Linghui didn't resist. She knew that it was meaningless to resist. After a long time, Zhao Fu held Feng Linghui in his arms and said, You can go back now. Feng Linghui was surprised. You want me to go back to the Feng family? Zhao Fu nodded with a smile. Feng Linghui said, Aren't you afraid that I'll leak this out? Or do you want me to go back and be a chess piece to get information for you? Zhao Fu said with a smile, You're smart indeed. I want you to go back and help me destroy the Feng family. Feng Linghui said coldly, You should know that I won't betray the Feng family. How do you plan to force me? Zhao Fu said with a smile, You'll know when you go back. Feng Linghui said, Can I leave now? Zhao Fu nodded and replied, Yes. Feng Linghui immediately put on her clothes and left the Jin family. She planned to tell Wind on Snow about this important news. She didn't know what Zhao Fu was going to do, but she didn't want to care. She hurried back to the Feng family and found Wind on Snow. Just as she was about to speak, her body stiffened. Wind on Snow asked curiously, "What's wrong?" Feng Linghui now knew what Zhao Fu was going to do. Her body was already under his control. After understanding this, Feng Linghui gave up on telling Wind on Snow. Her body regained its freedom and she said, "Nothing." Wind on Snow asked, "What did you gain from your negotiation with the Jin family this time?" Feng Linghui tried and realized that she couldn't say anything about the Jin family. She could only answer, "Nothing." Wind on Snow continued to ask, "What did you discuss with the young master of the Jin family?" Feng Linghui couldn't say anything and said again, "Nothing." Wind on Snow frowned and looked at Feng Linghui. She was a little disappointed. She said, "You can leave now." Feng Linghui left the room and immediately wanted to take out a dagger to end her life. She was worried that it would endanger the Feng family. But just as she had this thought, her body stiffened on the spot. A wave of heat emanated from her body. This made Feng Linghui hate Zhao Fu very much. Chapter 3192. Book 1, Chapter 137. A few days later, Feng Linghui's body uncontrollably arrived near a large tree. Someone was waiting for her there. It was Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu smiled at Feng Linghui, but Feng Linghui stared back at Zhao Fu coldly. Zhao Fu asked, "What has the Feng family been up to these past few days? What are their plans?" Feng Linghui naturally did not want to tell Zhao Fu, but her body still answered uncontrollably. The Feng family has been gathering information on Qin and the Jin family. They realized that Qin is not as easy to deal with, so they are now formulating a new plan. Zhao Fu nodded. "They didn't suspect you, did they?" Feng Linghui replied, "They didn't." Zhao Fu smiled and said, "You have to tell me every step of the Feng family's plans from now on. Do you understand?" Feng Linghui replied uncontrollably, "Understood." Zhao Fu hugged Feng Linghui in satisfaction and began to deepen his control over her. 2 hours later, Zhao Fu left. Feng Linghui's face was rosy as she straightened her clothes and left the place as well. Now that Feng Linghui had given up on resisting, she was no longer as angry as before. Back at the Feng family home, Feng Xiaoxiao looked at Feng Linghui and smiled. "Did you go there to meet a man in secret?" Feng Linghui replied, "No." Actually, Feng Linghui was more than willing for Feng Xiaoxiao to discover that something was wrong with her and find out that she was Qin's pawn so that Qin's scheme would be useless. Feng Xiaoxiao looked at Feng Linghui suspiciously. "Is that so? You look like you've just done that with a man." Feng Linghui said, "I'm leaving." Feng Xiaoxiao smiled and said, "Don't be angry. I won't object to it. I'm just a little curious, who won your heart? I admire him a little. I think he must be an intelligent person, right?" Feng Linghui felt bitter in her heart. She had never thought of marrying, but now that she was being bullied by that B****starred Zhao Fu, she had quietly accepted it. Feng Linghui said coldly, "I'm leaving." Feng Xiaoxiao watched as Feng Linghui left and did not say anything else. Wind on Snow gathered the 8 elders for a discussion and said, "According to the information we've gathered, this Qin is not easy to deal with. We've underestimated him." Feng Xiaoyang nodded. "I really didn't expect Qin to be so powerful. He had already destroyed 2 king-level forces and wasn't afraid of the allied forces of the other kingdoms." Feng Yintian said, "Yeah. Fortunately, we didn't attack recklessly last time. This is all thanks to our young master that we avoided a loss." Wind on Snow said calmly, "I have to thank Sister Hui for the reminder." Fenling Hui stood by the side and did not say anything. Wind on Snow frowned slightly. Feng Lingyao said in a low voice, "Young master, Qin is so powerful. Together with the Jin family, it will be difficult for us to destroy them." Wind on Snow nodded. "That is why I have decided to form an alliance with the people of the kingdom of Shenmu. We plan to attack Qin and the Jin family together." Feng Jiao said worriedly, The Divine Wood Kingdom is from the card world. Would they form an alliance with us? Wind on Snow said, I need to send someone to the kingdom of Shimu to discuss this. Wind on Snow said uncontrollably, Young master, I'm willing to go. Now that she was out of control, Wind on Snow understood that Zhao Fu wanted to control her to destroy the alliance between the two forces. However, Wind on Snow did not agree. Instead, she said to Feng Xiaoxiao, Sister Hui hasn't been feeling well recently. It's better if you go, Xiaoxiao. Feng Xiaoxiao smiled and said, No problem. I will definitely bring back a good result. Wind on Snow nodded. That's all for now. You can all leave. Sister Hui, you stay. Hearing this, the girls glanced at Wind on Snow and left the hall. Seeing the crowd leave, Wind on Snow looked at Wind on Snow. Her expression softened and she said softly, Sister Hui, do you have something against me? Wind on Snow said, No. Wind on Snow said doubtfully, Then why are you treating me like this? Wind on Snow did not want to be like this either. However, she could not control her body at all. She said, There is no reason. Wind on Snow sighed, Sister Hui, you've been by my side since I was young. I've always treated you like an older sister. You're the person I trust the most. You can tell me anything. Wind on Snow's heart was filled with bitterness. Wind on Snow looked at Wind on Snow and asked, Is there anything else? Wind on Snow shook her head. Wind on Snow did not say anything else. Sister Hui, you can leave first. After Wind on Snow left, she lost control of her body and spread the news of the alliance between the Feng family and the Shenmu kingdom to Zhao Fu. Feng Xiaoxiao and the group were planning to head towards the Shenmu kingdom. However, halfway there, a man in a cloak appeared in the sky, emitting a powerful aura. This shocked everyone and they immediately retreated. Zhao Fu stood in the sky in disdain. With a point of his finger, numerous black beams shot out and pierced through the chests of those people. They fell to the ground, leaving only Feng Xiaoxiao alive. Feng Xiaoxiao's expression was ugly as she said, Who are you? Zhao Fu smiled and replied, The king of Qin. Feng Xiaoxiao's heart jumped. She never thought that the mighty king of Qin would personally come to capture her. Feng Xiaoxiao took out a green feather and waved it. Whoosh! A huge green hurricane blew towards Zhao Fu as if it could destroy everything. Some of the trees on the ground were uprooted and many rocks were sent flying. Zhao Fu took out a sword and slashed with all his might. A terrifying black sword light filled with destructive power slashed the green hurricane apart. It turned into a turbulent flow of energy that dispersed in all directions. It was extremely powerful. It was enough to hurt one's ears. Feng Xiaoxiao did not expect Zhao Fu to be so powerful. Zhao Fu smiled confidently as he landed in front of Feng Xiaoxiao. Feng Xiaoxiao did not try to escape. Instead, she asked, What do you want? Also, how did Qin get the news that I would take this route to the Shenmu kingdom? Zhao Fu replied with a smile, Because there's a traitor in the Feng family. Feng Xiaoxiao hurriedly asked, Who's the traitor? Zhao Fu replied with a smile, You want to know? I'll tell you right away. 2 hours later, Feng Xiaoxiao snuggled into Zhao Fu's arms and asked, Can you tell me who the traitor is now? The person who knew about her route was definitely someone from the higher echelons of the Feng family. If this person was not found, the entire Feng family would be in danger. Zhao Fu smiled and asked, What do you think? Feng Xiaoxiao thought about it carefully but did not find anyone suspicious. She then asked, I can't think of anyone. You should tell me. Zhao Fu smiled and replied, Feng Linghui. Feng Xiaoxiao exclaimed in surprise, That can't be. She's the last person who would betray the Feng family. How could she be the traitor? Zhao Fu smiled and replied, Because she's already under my control. You're next. Hearing this, Feng Xiaoxiao's expression changed and she said, You've already obtained my person. How are you going to control me? Chapter 3193 Book 1. Chapter 138. Zhao Fu smiled and said, "Don't worry, I won't hurt you. You can go back now. Just say that you were attacked and that you escaped alone." Feng Xiaoxiao asked curiously, "Are you sure?" Zhao Fu nodded. Feng Xiaoxiao then returned to the Feng family home alone and found Wind on Snow. She was about to tell her that Wenling Hui had betrayed her and had become Qin's spy. However, he could not control his body as he said, "Young master, we were attacked on the road, and I was the only one who managed to escape." Feng Xiaoxiao was astonished. How could this be? She quickly understood that it was because of Zhao Fu. At the same time, she also understood why Feng Linghui would betray Wind on Snow. Wind on Snow asked curiously, "How did those people know which path you took?" Feng Xiaoxiao blurted out uncontrollably, "I'm not sure, but I heard from the person who attacked us that it's related to Feng Jiao." Feng Jiao's expression changed and she hurriedly said, "Young master, this has absolutely nothing to do with me." Wind on Snow said calmly, "I know, this could be a setup by that person." Feng Jiao heaved a sigh of relief. Feng Xiaoyang said, "Young master, what should we do now?" Wind on Snow said, "Now that they know, there is no need for us to hide it. Publicizing this news will depend on the Shenmu Kingdom's attitude." The girls nodded. After they left the main hall, Feng Jiao angrily said to Feng Xiaoxiao, "Why did you say that it had something to do with me? Don't you know that this will kill me?" Feng Xiaoxiao glanced at Feng Linghui and said, "I wasn't the one who wanted to say those things. It was the person who had attacked me who said those things. I can't do anything about it even if you want to blame me." Feng Jiao snorted coldly, "Don't let me find out about that, or else he'll suffer." Feng Yumin said, "This matter is indeed suspicious. We should be more careful in the future." The women left and only Feng Xiaoxiao and Feng Linghui were left. Feng Xiaoxiao looked at Feng Linghui and sighed. Feng Linghui understood when she saw Feng Xiaoxiao's expression and said, "That B** did it?" Feng Xiaoxiao grunted in acknowledgement. He asked, "What do we do now?" Feng Linghui said, "I'm not sure either. Unless we can break free from that bastard's control, we can't do anything." Feng Xiaoxiao replied angrily, "That fellow is terrifyingly strong. It's almost impossible to escape his control." Feng Linghui said, "Then we can only take it one step at a time." When the Divine Wood Kingdom heard that the Feng clan wanted to form an alliance with them, they thought about it. They had a common enemy, so they did not refuse and expressed that they were willing to form an alliance with the Feng clan. This was a good thing for the Feng clan. The pressure would not be so great. The two powers met. Wind on Snow wanted to join forces with the Kingdom of Shenmu to attack Qin and the Jin clan as soon as possible. However, the Kingdom of Shenmu did not want to do so because they had yet to digest such a large territory and population. They did not want to attack so soon. Wind on Snow understood that Shenmu Duan would not attack Qin now and did not force the issue. After some discussion, both parties reached a simple consensus. Back at the Feng family, Feng Xiaoyang was somewhat displeased. The Divine Wood Kingdom refuses to attack, and we can't attack alone. All we can do is wait here? Wait for the Divine Wood Kingdom to attack before attacking together? Feng Yin Tian said, "If that's the case, we might as well return to the alchemy world." Feng Yumin said, "We can eliminate some small forces first. Let's wait and see. Qin probably won't take the initiative to attack now." Feng Linghui said uncontrollably, "Yes. It's better for us to stay. Although Qin is strong, as long as we eliminate him, the rewards will be great." Hearing her own words, Feng Linghui knew that Zhao Fu did not want the Feng clan to leave. She wondered why Zhao Fu did not want them to leave. Zhao Fu really did not want the Feng clan to leave. After the Feng clan left, new forces would spawn. Now that he had control over two elders, it was very beneficial to Qin's side. If the Feng clan left, all their efforts would be wasted. Feng Xiaoxiao also said uncontrollably, I don't want to go back like this. Our Feng clan is also a respectable person. Hearing this, Wind on Snow said, then we want to eliminate some small forces and build up our defenses to prevent a sudden attack from Qin and the Jin clan. Feng Xiaoxiao and Feng Linghui walked towards a secluded area. Feng Jiao felt strange. She thought about Feng Xiaoxiao's words and felt suspicious. So, she quietly followed them. The two of them came under a large tree. A man wearing a cloak walked out from the side. Who is this man? Feng Jiao wondered. However, what happened next made Feng Jiao even more confused. What was going on between the three of them? Were they in love with the same man? 3 hours later, Zhao Fu was lying on the ground with the two women in his arms. Feng Xiaoxiao said, Our Feng clan will not attack Qin. Can't we return to the alchemy world? Hearing this, Feng Jiao was shocked. This man is Qin's man? The two of them are in cahoots with Qin's men. They are the traitors. No, I have to go back and tell the young master. However, Feng Jiao thought again, there's no hurry. Let's listen to what they're up to before we go back. Zhao Fu smiled and said, Since you're here, why don't you stay longer? Why go back so soon? Feng Linghui looked at Zhao Fu. You won't let the Feng clan go no matter what? Zhao Fu nodded. Also, the two of you should know what's good for you. Submit to me as soon as possible and work for me. I won't have to control you. Even if you don't submit, the Feng clan will still fall into my hand. Feng Jiao understood, so the two of them are being controlled. Feng Linghui did not speak. Feng Xiaoxiao seemed to be hesitating. Zhao Fu suddenly looked at the place where Feng Jiao was hiding and said with a smile, You've been watching for so long. Isn't it time to come out? Feng Jiao's heart jumped and she quickly ran backwards. Clang, clang, clang. A few metal chains shot out from the void and easily bound Feng Jiao before dragging her in front of Zhao Fu. Feng Xiaoxiao and Feng Linghui were slightly surprised when they saw Feng Jiao. They had not noticed that Feng Jiao was following them. Feng Jiao struggled with a cold expression. Let me go. Zhao Fu smiled and said, I'll let you go right now. The metal chains loosened and Feng Jiao disappeared. Feng Jiao immediately leaped up and slammed her palm towards Zhao Fu's chest. Zhao Fu reached out and grabbed her hand. With a tug, he pulled Feng Jiao into his arms. Feng Linghui watched as Zhao Fu began to bully Feng Jiao inside. Another elder has been controlled. The Feng clan will be in grave danger if this goes on. Feng Xiaoxiao looked at Feng Jiao's expression and understood what was going on. Bastard scum! Feng Jiao glared angrily at Zhao Fu from the ground and cursed. Zhao Fu smiled gently and said, I'm going back now. The two of you should go back as well. Feng Jiao replied angrily, I'll report this to the young master when I get back and make Qin pay the price. Feng Xiaoxiao replied, It's no use, he's not that kind. His power is in our bodies and our bodies are under his control. Otherwise, we would have told the young master long ago. Chapter 3194. Volume 1, Chapter 139. Zhao Fu chuckled. All right. Don't waste time, go back. Feng Linghui looked at Zhao Fu. Let me ask you one last time. What's your goal? Can't the Feng family leave now? Zhao Fu smiled. It doesn't matter if I tell you. As long as the Feng family remains, there shouldn't be any new forces around Qin City. I want the situation in Qin City to stabilize. I have other important matters to deal with. Feng Linghui asked, What important matters? Zhao Fu smiled as he said, That's the second question. Feng Linghui asked softly, Can't you tell me? Zhao Fu chuckled. You can tell me, but I won't tell you now because I'm not satisfied with your performance. Feng Jiao snorted. What else do you want us to do after treating us like this? Zhao Fu said, I'm leaving. Feng Jiao looked at Zhao Fu in dissatisfaction. After Zhao Fu left, only the three women were left on the ground. Feng Xiaoxiao looked at Feng Linghui and asked, What should we do now? Feng Linghui thought for a moment. We'll listen to him in the future. Feng Jiao was stunned. No way? You want us to submit to him and listen to his orders? Feng Xiaoxiao also looked at Feng Linghui in surprise. She really did not expect her to say that. Feng Linghui explained, we have no other choice, and I feel that he'll control the Feng family. Feng Xiaoxiao asked, is there no room for redemption? Feng Linghui nodded. Yes. The three thought for a while and left the place without saying anything else. Back at the Feng family, Feng Xiaoyang asked curiously, where did the three of you go after such a long time? Why couldn't you find them? The three women blushed slightly when they thought of the matter with Su Bai. Feng Linghui asked, what's the matter? The latest chapters of this series will be updated first on the app. Download and continue reading without ad. Feng Xiaoyang said, the young master plans to divide a few troops to clear out some Tianqi forces. Feng Linghui nodded. We understand. Feng Xiaoyang continued, now that there's a traitor, you guys should be more careful and not be misunderstood by the young master. Feng Jiao glanced at Feng Linghui and Feng Xiaoxiao and said, I know. Thank you for the reminder. Feng Xiaoyang left. When the three of them heard this news, they did not do anything. This meant that Zhao Fu did not care about this matter. This time, the Feng clan sent out 3 armies to attack towards the east. They destroyed a few small forces and achieved a good result. This made the Feng family somewhat happy. They could not help but shift their focus to this aspect. After all, it was impossible for them to fight Qin now unless Qin took the initiative to attack or the Shenmu kingdom was willing to attack. Feng Linghui and the other 2 were no longer under control. They focused on wind on snow and planned to attack the smaller factions. This Tianfeng Lil Yang said with a smile. The army I commanded cleared out a small faction and obtained some precious top-grade wine. Do you want to have a taste? Feng Jiao smiled. Sure. Feng Xiaoxiao asked curiously, what wine? I don't think I've tasted it. Feng Xiaoyang said with a smile, everyone, let's have a taste. With that said, Feng Xiaoyang took out a jar of wine and opened it. The fragrance of rice wafted out, making one feel as though they were in a field. There was a sense of relaxation. Feng Xiaoyang said with a smile, how is it? Isn't it very extraordinary? Feng Xiaoxiao nodded with a smile. Hurry up and make some for me to try. Feng Xiaoyang took out wine cups and filled them with wine. He said with a smile, all of you, come over and have a taste. The girls walked over and drank a mouthful of wine. As the wine flowed down their throats, a warm feeling spread out. It made them feel as though they were in a field, lazily basking in the sun. Feng Jiao praised, this wine is very good. Feng Xiaoyang smiled. As the girls drank, they became a little drunk. Feng Yumin and Feng Yintian returned to settle some matters before leaving. The girls wanted to end this as they did not want to get too drunk. However, Feng Jiao and Feng Xiaoxiao kept urging them to drink. The girls could not reject their good intentions and gradually lost consciousness. Feng Linghui looked at Feng Xiaoyang, Feng Lingyao and Feng Lingyu and sighed. Send the 3 of them over. Feng Jiao said, they will definitely blame us when they wake up. Feng Linghui said, they will definitely, but they won't blame them for long. They will end up like us. Feng Xiaoxiao blushed. If that guy wasn't the master of Qin City, I would actually like to do that with him. Feng Xiaoyang said drunkenly, what are you guys talking about? Feng Jiao said with a smile, nothing much. I'm bringing you to a good place. Feng Xiaoyang smiled drunkenly. What good place? I've been to many places. Feng Jiao smiled. You'll find out very soon. Under the tree, Zhao Fu smiled as he looked at the 3 drunk beauties on the ground. He smiled at Feng Jiao and the other 2 girls. Not bad. I'm very satisfied with your performance. Feng Jiao snorted. Feng Linghui said, can I put forward some conditions for you now? Zhao Fu asked, what conditions? Feng Linghui said, I haven't thought about it yet. I'll let you know in the future. Zhao Fu smiled as he said, sure. Feng Xiaoxiao and Feng Jiao smiled. Now we're not as passive as we were before. We can discuss some conditions with Zhao Fu. Feng Linghui nodded. Let's go. Feng Xiaoxiao blushed. Can't we stay together? Feng Jiao blushed. I don't mind staying. Feng Linghui said softly. We'll come back after he's settled this matter. Let's not disturb him. Zhao Fu smiled. You're very considerate indeed. Whoever has you will be lucky. Feng Linghui rolled her eyes at Zhao Fu. This B** starred Zhao Fu had already possessed her. He still had the nerve to say such things. After the three women left, Zhao Fu looked at the three women on Feng Xiaoyang's back. A few hours passed. Feng Xiaoyang was in Zhao Fu's arms. She blushed and said, Who are you? Why are we here? Feng Lingyao and Feng Lingyu looked at Zhao Fu. They were not disgusted with Zhao Fu because they sobered up after a while. Zhao Fu smiled as he said, I am Great Qin's emperor. Upon hearing this, the three women were astonished. Feng Xiaoyang said, You're not lying to me, are you? Zhao Fu smiled. Why would I lie to you? Feng Xiaoyang scolded coldly. You're a B** starred. Zhao Fu said with a smile, You weren't like this just now. You called me husband. Feng Xiaoyang blushed and snorted. Feng Lingyu looked at Zhao Fu and said, I remember the three of us getting drunk at the Feng residence. How did we get here? Where are Feng Linghui and the rest? Zhao Fu said with a smile, They're the ones who sent you to me. Feng Xiaoyang immediately said, I don't believe it. It's impossible for them to do that. Feng Lingyao sighed. No, it's possible. Previously, our Feng family leaked information several times. I suspected that there was a traitor. Now that I think about it, I'm right. N. Chapter 3195. Book 1, Chapter 140. Feng Xiaoyang said, But why would they do that? Feng Lingyao said, I don't know either because they have no reason to betray the Feng clan. Zhao Fu chuckled and said, Maybe it's because I'm too charming that they're all infatuated with me and are willing to help me. Feng Xiaoyang spat, shameless. Feng Lingyu said worriedly, What should we do now? If the young lord knew that we were like this with Emperor Qin, he would definitely kill us. Feng Xiaoyang angrily said to Zhao Fu, It's all your fault. Zhao Fu smiled and said, Right now, your only choice is to submit to me. You can rest assured that I will not harm you. Feng Lingyu said, Let us think about it. Zhao Fu smiled and said, No problem, you can go back first, I will wait for your news. The three women nodded. Not long after they left, Feng Linghui and the other two girls came back. Their faces were red, and they looked at Zhao Fu in an alluring manner. Zhao Fu smiled and walked towards them. Feng Xiaoyang and the other two went back and thought about it seriously. They were in a dilemma. They didn't want to betray the Feng clan, but they would be executed for what they did. If they didn't betray, they would die. Of course, they didn't want to die. They thought about it for a long time but could not come to a conclusion. In the end, they got Feng Linghui and the other two girls to come back. Feng Xiaoyang said angrily, What do you have to say for doing such a thing to us? Feng Xiaoxiao smiled gently and said, Aren't you very happy as well? Feng Xiaoyang blushed. Feng Lingyao looked at Feng Linghui and asked, Why did you betray the Feng family? Feng Linghui said, We have no other choice, and it's the same for you. Win Chime asked, What do you mean? Feng Jiao said, You have that guy's power in your bodies. You are now under his control. If you can't do it, you can try. Hearing this, Feng Xiaoyang wanted to report to Wind on Snow. However, he could not control his body, as if it was not their body. Feng Jiao said helplessly, We have no choice. If you want to blame us, then blame us. Feng Xiaoyang snorted, I'll deal with that bastard later. The three women understood this reason and naturally did not blame them. Feng Lingyu asked, That guy must have bullied you long ago, right? Feng Linghui said calmly, Yes, when young master sent me to the Jin family, I was taken by that guy. Feng Xiaoyang understood. So it was you who had been leaking information about the Feng family. Feng Xiaoxiao replied, I was sent to the Divine Wood Nation by the young master. Feng Jiao said, I followed the two of them out of curiosity. In the end, I was discovered by that guy and was bullied by him. Wen Qimiao said bitterly, this fellow is so despicable. He doesn't have any of the morals of an emperor at all. How could he do such a thing? Feng Lingyu said, let's not talk about this. What's your plan now? We plan to submit to him and listen to his orders. Feng Xiaoyang said reluctantly, do we really have to do this? Feng Linghui nodded. This is the best choice. Think about it. Out of the 8 elders, 6 are already under his control. We have no other choice. Feng Xiaoyang said. All right. Feng Lingyu and Feng Lingyao nodded, planning to do the same as Feng Linghui. Feng Xiaoyang asked, what should we do next? Feng Linghui said, only Feng Yumin and Feng Yintian are left. We want to deal with the 2 of them. The next day, Feng Linghui and the other ladies came before Feng Yintian and Feng Yumin and said, the young master wants us to do something in secret. Let's go quickly. Feng Yintian asked curiously, what is it? Feng Linghui said, it's a secret for now. Upon hearing this, Feng Yintian did not suspect anything. Since the other elders were going as well, what was there for her to suspect? She did not know that Feng Linghui and the other 5 were Zhao Fu's men. Once again, he arrived under that familiar tree. Feng Yumin looked around and asked curiously, what are we doing here? Feng Linghui did not answer them. Instead, she said to the side, what are you doing? Zhao Fu walked out with a smile. Feng Yintian asked Feng Linghui, who is he? What does the young master want us to do? Zhao Fu said with a smile, your young master wants you to serve me. Feng Yintian's expression turned cold. Nonsense. Our young master would never give such an order. Feng Linghui said calmly, indeed, the young master would not give such an order. However, the 2 of you still have to serve him. What? Feng Yintian looked at Feng Linghui. Feng Jiao glared at Zhao Fu. Hurry up. Don't waste time. Zhao Fu laughed and walked towards the 2 ladies. The 2 ladies wanted to escape with ugly expressions. However, they were stopped by the other ladies. They did not expect things to turn out like this. After the chaos, Feng Yumin asked with a red face, can you tell me who he is now? Feng Xiaoxiao said, he is the master of Qin. Upon hearing this, Feng Yumin and Feng Yintian's expressions turned ugly. Feng Jiao said with a smile, don't worry. We are all his women now. Upon hearing this, the 2 ladies relaxed a little. Feng Yumin asked, why is it like this? Feng Linghui said, we are all controlled by him. We have no choice but to submit to him. Feng Yintian and Feng Xiaoxiao did not object when they saw that everyone else was like this. Zhao Fu said with a smile, I won't treat the 8 of you unfairly. Feng Yumin sighed. It's a pity that our young master is still kept in the dark. We've let her down. Zhao Fu said with a smile, as long as she becomes my woman, there's no need to let her down. Feng Jiao snorted. In your dreams. Feng Xiaoxiao thought for a moment before saying, our young master is the only one left. If we control her, the Feng clan will fall into the hands of Qin. Zhao Fu said with a smile, that's right. There's only your young master left. I hope that you can help me bring her out so that I can control her. Feng Xiaoyang tried to persuade him. Since it's come to this, you have no choice but to agree. Also, you must treat us and the young master better in the future. Otherwise, I'll make you regret it. Zhao Fu said with a smile. Feng Linghui looked at Zhao Fu and said, my first condition is that you try your best not to hurt our young master. Don't make her sad. You're her first man. Zhao Fu nodded. I understand. Feng Xiaoxiao asked, then when do we make our move? Zhao Fu said, we'll start in a while. I'll wait for you here. Feng Xiaoxiao looked at Feng Linghui. They all treated Feng Linghui as their leader. Feng Linghui said, "All right, let's go." Hearing this, the ladies left the place. They arrived at the Feng clan. Wind on Snow sat in the main hall, listening to the soldiers' report on the elimination of the small organizations. At this moment, Feng Linghui and the others walked into the main hall. Seeing the ladies' rosy faces, Wind on Snow asked curiously, "Where did you go?" Chapter 3196. Book 1, Chapter 141. Feng Jiao chuckled and said, "Young master, can you come with us for a while?" Wind on Snow was confused. "Why? Why do I feel that you're all very strange?" Feng Xiaoxiao smiled charmingly and said, "Young master, don't waste time. Once you're there, you'll get there." Wind on Snow frowned. "What if I don't go?" Wind on Snow said softly, "Young master, you should go." Wind on Snow felt that something was wrong and said coldly, "What's wrong with you? Why should I go there?" The girls looked at each other and understood that Wind on Snow would not go with them. Feng Xiaoyang said, "Young master, you can't blame us." Wind on Snow was shocked and immediately called out, "Guards!" However, no one responded because the 8 elders had already ordered the soldiers to stay away. The 8 elders were the most respected people besides Wind on Snow. They did not suspect anything. Wind on Snow's expression was ugly, but she said, "What do you want?" Feng Jiao smiled and said, "You'll know when you get there." Wind on Snow was about to run to the side. The 8 elders surrounded Wind on Snow so that Wind on Snow had no way to escape. Feng Lingyu advised, "Young master, don't force us to attack you." Wind on Snow looked at Feng Linghui. "Sister Hui, you're the person I trust the most. Are you going to be like them?" Feng Linghui sighed. "Young master, please come with us." Wind on Snow thought about it and could only agree. On the way, Wind on Snow asked, "Did someone in your family ask you to do this?" Feng Xiaoxiao shook her head and said with a smile, "No." Wind on Snow looked puzzled. "Then who is it?" In the beginning, Wind on Snow thought that someone in her family wanted to harm her. Otherwise, the 8 elders would not have betrayed her. It seemed that this was not the case. Feng Xiaoxiao smiled and said, "We'll be there soon. You'll understand." In the end, the 8 elders brought Wind on Snow to a large tree. Under the tree lay a man with a perfect face. Zhao Fu looked at them and said with a smile, "You're so slow. I'm already dressed." Hearing this, Wind on Snow understood the reason behind the elders' red faces. She was shocked. How could 8 elders do something like this? Who was this person? Feng Linghui said softly, "Young master, he is Qin's majesty." "What?" Wind on Snow looked at the women in shock. She did not expect the 8 elders to bring her to the enemy. Feng Xiaoyang blushed and said, "You're shameless." Zhao Fu chuckled and walked towards Wind on Snow. Wind on Snow asked angrily, "Why did you betray me?" Feng Xiaoxiao spoke charmingly, "Young master, don't be angry. You'll be very happy later and you won't blame us." Zhao Fu rushed forward and hugged Wind on Snow. Wind on Snow struggled with all her might and said coldly, "If you dare to do anything to me, I will kill you." An hour later, Feng Linghui could not help but say, "That's enough. Don't bully our young master anymore." Zhao Fu smiled and said, "Then you do it." Feng Xiaoxiao said coquettishly, "I'll do it." That night, the sky was a deep blue. There was no moon or stars. Zhao Fu hugged Wind on Snow in his arms and said, "How do you feel? Are you still going to kill me?" Wind on Snow blushed and scoffed, "Of course I'm going to kill you." Feng Xiaoxiao laughed softly, "Young master, you weren't like this earlier. Let's not talk about this. Let's get down to business." Wind on Snow said, "What's there to talk about now?" Zhao Fu said with a smile, "Of course there is. Aren't you curious about how I will deal with the Feng family?" Wind on Snow said coldly, "How dare you?" Zhao Fu smiled and said, "You're my people. Why wouldn't I dare?" Feng Linghui said softly, "Stop bullying our young master. Let's talk about your next move." Zhao Fu smiled at Wind on Snow and said, "Actually, I don't want to do anything. I just want the Feng family to stay here obediently and not cause me any trouble." Wind on Snow said, "It's that simple?" Zhao Fu said with a smile, "After I destroy you, there will be another force. I don't want that kind of trouble." Feng Linghui said, "That's not a problem." Wind on Snow said, "If that's the case, then I can promise you that I won't do anything to Qin." Zhao Fu smiled, "Do you have any ideas?" Feng Linghui thought about it and said, "Even though we've attacked some small forces and gained some rewards, if we continue to stay here, we'll have to bear the pressure from our families." Zhao Fu said, "Isn't the Feng family led by you?" Feng Linghui shook her head. "The Feng family is divided into 3 factions. We're only one of them. The other 2 factions have been eyeing the young master's position. If our young master doesn't perform well, then he might be replaced by them." Zhao Fu said with a smile, "All right then. I'll help you get rid of them." Wind on Snow said, "How do you plan to help us?" Zhao Fu said with a smile, "If your army and our Qin soldiers attack the Feng family together, you should be able to easily control the entire Feng family. At that time, you'll be the ones with the most power." Wind on Snow immediately said, "No. That will result in countless casualties. I don't want that." Feng Linghui said, "That's not a good idea. Why don't we use the method you used to control us and control them together?" Zhao Fu laughed as he said, "That's not too good, right? I'm not such a casual man." Wind on Snow pinched Zhao Fu hard. "Don't you have any shame?" Zhao Fu said, "All right then, I'll have to trouble you a little." Following that, Zhao Fu followed Wind on Snow and the elders to the Feng family. This Feng family was mainly made up of women. The men's status was not high. The current head of the family, Feng Qinyue, was Wind on Snow's mother. She looked elegant and elegant, making one's heart beat faster. Feng Qinyue called Wind on Snow and the rest to her. "Did something happen for you to come back so suddenly?" Wind on Snow replied, "Nothing." The handsome middle-aged man next to her was Wind on Snow's father. His name was Feng Dongming, and he smiled as he said, "I heard that you brought back a man from the heaven-awakened world. Is that the man standing next to you?" Wind on Snow nodded. Feng Dongming reminded her, "You have a noble status, so you can't have any dealings with people from the heaven-awakened world. We will choose a man for you." Wind on Snow was a bit dissatisfied and simply nodded. Feng Qinyue looked at Zhao Fu and said, "Why does he always wear a cloak?" Hearing this, Zhao Fu took the cloak, revealing his flawless face and extraordinary aura. All of the women present were moved and looked at Zhao Fu in fascination. Feng Dongming felt quite jealous. Why was this person so much better looking than him? In comparison, he was nothing. Feng Qinyue suppressed her heartbeat and smiled as she said, "Wind on Snow, why did you bring him back?" Wind on Snow replied, "He's the prince of a kingdom that I destroyed. I saw that he looked quite good, so I brought him back." Chapter 3197. Book 1, Chapter 142. Feng Qinyue smiled and nodded. "I've never seen such a perfect man before." Wind on Snow said, "Mother, if there's nothing else, I'll take him away." Feng Qinyue looked at Zhao Fu with a tinge of reluctance, and was about to ask Zhao Fu to stay. Feng Dongming felt that his position was being threatened and immediately said, "All right. You can take him away." Feng Qinyue frowned as she looked at Feng Dongming, not knowing what to say. Wind on Snow brought Zhao Fu away. Because he did not bring his cloak, everyone looked at him along the way. They were all captivated by Zhao Fu's looks and aura. Many men could not help but feel envious. When they reached the room, Zhao Fu smiled proudly. "Look, with my looks, don't you think countless women will like me?" Wind on Snow glared at Zhao Fu. "Stop being so smug." Although Wind on Snow said that, She had to admit that Zhao Fu was worthy of being called the most handsome man in the world. Even if Zhao Fu did not force himself on her, he only needed to use some tricks and he would be able to get her. Wind on Snow said, "Stay here and don't wander around. I'll prepare some information for you and then we'll discuss how to deal with the two factions." Zhao Fu nodded. However, not too long after, Zhao Fu sensed someone stealthily sneak in. Zhao Fu pretended not to notice anything and sat down at the table to wait. Suddenly, that person appeared and knocked out Zhao Fu. This was actually Zhao Fu pretending to be knocked out to see what this person was up to. A woman in black clothes with a seductive figure and about the same age as Wind on Snow appeared. She looked at Zhao Fu and lightly smiled as she said, "Since Wind on Snow brought back such a perfect man, I won't hold back." The woman carried Zhao Fu to the bed and then made love to Zhao Fu. After a while, the woman looked at Zhao Fu with reluctance. If she was not worried about Wind on Snow's return, she would not have wanted to leave. After some thought, she smiled and said, "Now that this man has been used by me, let's see what that Wind on Snow can do." A second after the man in black left, another man snuck in. It was a woman with a graceful figure, a beautiful face, and a cold temperament. The woman had just arrived and saw what the woman in black had done to Zhao Fu. She looked at Zhao Fu and gave off a trace of killing intent. Her original plan was to kill Zhao Fu and shift the blame to the lady in black. Then, the lady in black would fight Wind on Snow, and she would reap the benefits in the end. The black-clothed woman's name was Feng Moluo, and she was the young mistress of another sect. This woman's name was Feng Doxiang, and she was also the young mistress of another sect. However, when Feng Doxiang walked in front of Zhao Fu, she could not help but reveal a stunned expression. Her heart could not help but race. She did not expect Wind on Snow to bring back such a perfect man. Feng Doxiang wanted to use Zhao Fu before killing Zhao Fu. With this thought, Feng Doxiang could not help but walk over. After a while, Feng Doxiang raised her hand to kill Zhao Fu. However, when she saw Zhao Fu's unconscious state, she could not bring herself to do it. In the end, she sighed and left the room. Zhao Fu felt helpless. He did not expect things to turn out like this. He did not even do anything, and he did not know the identities of the two women. However, not long after, the door opened and Feng Qingyue walked in. Seeing the mess on the bed, she frowned and walked over to wake Zhao Fu up. Zhao Fu pretended to wake up slowly and asked helplessly, "What happened?" Feng Qingyue said, "Someone must have knocked you out and done such a shameless thing." Zhao Fu said pitifully and helplessly, "Family leader, what should I do now?" Feng Qingyue could not help but pull Zhao Fu into her embrace. "Don't worry, I'll take care of you from now on. No one will bully you." Zhao Fu felt helpless and could only pretend to say, "Thank you, family head." Feng Qingyue smiled and gently pushed Zhao Fu to the side. 2 hours later, Zhao Fu asked curiously, "Family head? Why isn't young master back yet?" Feng Qingyue smiled. "I told her to go. Let's continue." After some time, Feng Qingyue hugged Zhao Fu and said with a satisfied smile, "You're truly a beauty. I've never been this happy before." Zhao Fu said embarrassedly, "Thank you for your praise, family head. From now on, I'm yours." Feng Qingyue smiled and nodded. "I'll find a chance to divorce my current man and let you be my man." Zhao Fu said happily, "Thank you, family head." Feng Qingyue smiled. "However, you have to keep this a secret for now. You can't leak this out, do you understand?" Zhao Fu nodded obediently. Feng Qingyue kissed Zhao Fu and left the room. Zhao Fu looked at the messy room and laughed lightly. This was completely different from what he had expected. The door was pushed open once again. Zhao Fu thought that Wind on Snow had returned, but unexpectedly, a green-clothed, cold-looking woman with a scar on her face walked in. Zhao Fu asked curiously, "Who are you?" That woman did not say anything. With a cold expression, she grabbed Zhao Fu's throat and pressed Zhao Fu onto the bed. She then started to bully Zhao Fu. 1 hour later. The cold-looking woman said, I know what happened between you and family head. If you dare to leak this out, you'll die a horrible death. Also, from now on, help Feng Qingyue gather information for me. If there's anything, just tell me directly, do you understand? Zhao Fu said pitifully, I understand. The cold-looking woman put on her clothes. Zhao Fu said, My lord, may I know your identity? The cold-looking woman reached out and hooked Zhao Fu's chin. She said coldly, Don't do things that shouldn't be done, do you understand? Zhao Fu nodded lightly. The cold-looking woman said, If you're obedient, I won't mistreat you. You can also become my man. Zhao Fu said softly, and the cold-looking woman said unhappily, You're not willing? Zhao Fu hurriedly smiled and said, No, I'm very happy to become my lord's man. The cold-looking woman harumphed, I don't mind you. You should be more obedient in the future, or else you'll suffer. Zhao Fu nodded. The cold-looking woman glanced at Zhao Fu and turned to leave the room. After the cold-looking woman left, Zhao Fu could not help but sigh. This B***tch was too violent. He would teach her a lesson later. At this moment, Wind on Snow walked in from outside. She asked with a strange expression, What happened? Zhao Fu rolled his eyes at Wind on Snow and told her what had just happened. Not only was Wind on Snow not angry, she was very happy. She said with a smile, You be***starred, you have such a day. Is this retribution? Zhao Fu went forward and hugged Wind on Snow unhappily. After bullying her and venting his anger, Zhao Fu looked at the information Wind on Snow gave him and understood the identity of those women. Chapter 3198. Book 1, Chapter 143. The next day, Zhao Fu had just woken up. Wind on Snow brought Zhao Fu to have breakfast. Everyone's gaze was on Zhao Fu. It could not be helped, Zhao Fu's looks and aura had already transcended the knowledge of mortals, especially after he had awakened the Chaos Emperor star. Suddenly, a sharp blade stabbed towards Zhao Fu from the crowd. With Zhao Fu's reaction speed, he could react quickly, but Zhao Fu had to act weak. Wind on Snow did not expect that someone would dare to attack him in front of such a person. The sharp blade stabbed towards Zhao Fu's body, and fresh blood flowed out. Wind on Snow's expression turned cold, and she sent a palm strike towards the ordinary-looking man. Bang! The man was sent flying, and he fell to the ground, spitting out a mouthful of blood before falling dead. It was not Wind on Snow who had killed him, but he had consumed poison beforehand. Wind on Snow supported Zhao Fu and asked, How are you? Zhao Fu had only suffered some minor injuries, and he pretended to be weak. I feel terrible. Wind on Snow immediately went back and called a doctor, and had her help with Zhao Fu's information. This doctor was a voluptuous woman dressed in white. Her face was red, and her heart was beating rapidly. She helped wrap up the wound on Zhao Fu's chest. Feng Qingyue walked in angrily. Who did this? Wind on Snow shook her head. I'm not sure, I didn't manage to find out the man's identity. Feng Qingyue said coldly, Continue searching. If we find that person, I will make them pay. Feng Qingyue now treated Zhao Fu as her most precious treasure. Feng Qingyue looked at the doctor and asked, How are his injuries? Dr. Windscreen replied, It's just a small injury, nothing serious. Feng Qingyue heaved a sigh of relief, and said to a heroic-looking woman beside her, Feng Shou, in the future you will be in charge of protecting him, and not let him come to any harm. Yes, Feng Shou replied. Feng Dongming frowned. He did not think that the assassin he had carefully chosen would be so useless. That person was sent by Feng Dongming. Because Feng Dongming could sense that Feng Qingyue liked Zhao Fu a lot, his position would not be guaranteed, so he wanted to get rid of Zhao Fu. After this failure, he didn't dare to act recklessly again. If Feng Qingyue were to find out, not only would he lose his position, he would also lose his life. Feng Qingyue allowed Zhao Fu to rest in the room and instructed someone to cook a bowl of porridge. She then sat by the bed and fed Zhao Fu. Wind on Snow witnessed this scene and understood that her mother was completely infatuated with Zhao Fu. He sighed in his heart. After taking care of Zhao Fu, Feng Qingyue smiled and said, "Rest well, I'll come and see you later." Zhao Fu said weakly, "Thank you, Patriarch." Feng Qingyue smiled and left with his men. Wind on Snow still had things to do in the Heaven Awaken world. She looked at Zhao Fu and did not know what would happen if she left Zhao Fu here by himself. However, she could not do anything about it. After everyone left, only Feng Shroud and Feng Shou were left. Feng Shou looked at Zhao Fu. She had never seen such a perfect man before. However, she did not dare to look at him for too long and said, "I'll stand guard outside. If you need anything, just call me." Zhao Fu gave a slight smile and said, "Thank you." Seeing this moving smile, Feng Shroud's face became red and she hurriedly went outside. Only Feng Shroud was left in the room to take care of Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu lay on the bed for a while and felt a bit bored. He looked at Feng Shroud, who was standing by the side with a slightly red face, and smiled as he said, "Thank you for your treatment." Feng Shroud said nervously, "No need to thank me, it's my duty." Zhao Fu said, "I'll rest for a while." Feng Shroud nodded. Zhao Fu pretended to fall asleep. Seeing this scene, Feng Shroud could not help but lean over and look at Zhao Fu's face with her beautiful eyes. Her face became hot and her heartbeat became faster and faster. In the end, she could not resist Zhao Fu's temptation. Hearing the sounds inside, Feng Shroud looked at the room curiously and found that Feng Shroud was rubbing against Zhao Fu while he was asleep. Did Feng Shroud not want to live anymore? Feng Shroud immediately wanted to rush in and grab hold of Feng Shroud, who was violating Zhao Fu. However, she could not move her body, and her eyes were tightly fixed on the scene in the room, not wanting to leave for even a second. Feng Shroud walked out and looked at Feng Shroud. Thinking that no one had discovered her, she let out a sigh of relief and left. Seeing her leave, Feng Shroud could not wait any longer and immediately rushed into the room. After a while, Feng Shroud returned to normal and stood guard outside the door, as if nothing had happened. After dealing with some matters, Feng Qingyue came to Zhao Fu's room and said to Feng Shroud, "You can leave first. I have something to talk to him about alone." "Yes," Feng Shroud replied. Feng Qingyue walked out of the room and smiled as she woke Zhao Fu up, and the two of them started. An hour later, Feng Qingyue hugged Zhao Fu and smiled as she said, "I find that I can't leave you more and more." Zhao Fu said with a look of joy, "Me too." Feng Qingyue smiled as she said, "I will deal with this matter as soon as possible and make you the respected husband of the family head." Zhao Fu smiled as he nodded and said, "Family head, can I walk around for a bit?" Now that he was in the room, Zhao Fu could not do anything, and he did not know how long it would take for him to control the Feng family. Hearing this, Feng Qingyue thought about it and said, "Sure, but I need to send people to protect you." Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "N." Feng Qingyue called Feng Shroud over and had her accompany Zhao Fu to walk around. Feng Shroud looked at Feng Qingyue's rosy face and knew what had just happened. She felt quite envious. She did not dare to do that to Zhao Fu when he was awake. After leaving the courtyard, Zhao Fu and Feng Shroud walked on the streets, and they were still surrounded by people. There were both men and women, and some screamed in joy while others were filled with jealousy and hatred. Feng Shroud warned everyone not to get close, or else they would surround them. Zhao Fu purposefully walked in a certain direction. A seductive and beautiful woman stood on a building and looked at Zhao Fu with an enchanting gaze as she said, "I must get this man." She was the leader of the other faction, Feng Doxiang's mother, and her name was Feng Baixiang. Feng Doxiang stood by the side and heard her mother's words. She thought about what had happened and her expression became somewhat complicated. If she could become the family head and have such a perfect man, he would be the target of countless women, and she also wanted this. Zhao Fu walked around, and news regarding Zhao Fu caused an even greater sensation. It was as if countless men had seen a peerless beauty. At night, Zhao Fu followed the instructions and came to a tall wall. A cold-looking woman appeared, and Zhao Fu had already heard about her. She was the leader of the other faction, Feng Moluo's mother, and her name was Feng Ren. It was said that Feng Moluo's father, Feng Ren's husband, had been killed by Feng Ren. This woman was incredibly cold and ruthless, and one could tell what kind of person she was from her actions and tone. Chapter 3199. Book 1, Chapter 144. I heard that you're injured? Windblade asked as he coldly looked at Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu carefully nodded. It's just a small injury. Windblade asked, did you get any useful information? Zhao Fu shook his head. Windblade coldly snorted, grabbed Zhao Fu's throat with one hand and pressed him against the wall, and began to bully Zhao Fu again. Afterwards, Windblade coldly said to Zhao Fu on the ground, quickly put on your clothes and come with me to a place. Zhao Fu asked, where are we going? Windblade waved his hand and slapped Zhao Fu. I told you not to ask what you shouldn't ask. Did you not remember? Zhao Fu felt the burning pain on his face, and said in his heart, this stinky woman must be taught a good lesson later. No one dares to hit him like this. However, Zhao Fu still pretended to be pitiful, and quickly put on his clothes. Windblade brought Zhao Fu to a secret room. There were already more than 30 beautiful women with different looks and temperament. Many of the beautiful women looked at Zhao Fu's appearance and exclaimed, I've lived for so long, but I've never seen such a perfect man. I even suspect that there's something wrong with my eyes. And me too. When I heard about this in the morning, I didn't really believe it. Now that I've seen it with my own eyes, I understand. My heart is beating so fast. This man is simply a stunner. I like him so much. If they knew that our Feng clan has obtained such a perfect man, they would probably start a war to snatch him away. No woman can resist his charm. If I can enjoy him for a while, I'll do anything for you. I also want to. I feel like I've already fallen in love with him. I don't want to be apart from him for even a second. How can there be such a man in this world? My face is so hot. I like him too much. Windblade pushed Zhao Fu out and said coldly, I'll let you guys play with him. Many of the beautiful women rushed forward in surprise. Zhao Fu pretended to be reserved and obedient. In actuality, Zhao Fu was very happy to do this. He could obtain many beautiful women and control them. Looking at them, they were most likely people from the Windblade faction. In the future, he would not need to care about their faction's matters. The next morning, Zhao Fu returned to the courtyard. Feng Shou asked anxiously, Where did you go last night? Seeing her worried look, Zhao Fu smiled and said, I went to play for a while. Don't worry, I'll be fine. Thank you for your concern. Feng Shou's face turned red. You have to tell me when you go out in the future, understand? Zhao Fu smiled and nodded. He suddenly moved his face closer to Feng Shou, wanting to tease her. Seeing Zhao Fu come over, Feng Shou immediately became nervous and closed his eyes with a red face, looking forward to this Zhao Fu. But after waiting for a while, she didn't feel Zhao Fu doing anything. She opened her eyes and saw Zhao Fu smiling at her. Feng Shou picked up Zhao Fu angrily and walked into the room. Following this, Feng Shou also came to the courtyard. Feng Shou pretended that nothing had happened. She felt quite strange in her heart. Why did Zhao Fu not report her after what she had done to him? Could it be that he liked her? Feng Shou looked at Zhao Fu on the bed and prepared to help Zhao Fu change his dressing. Zhao Fu's small injuries had long since healed. His recovery ability was very monstrous. Seeing that Zhao Fu's wounds had healed so quickly, Feng Mu looked quite shocked before feeling quite disappointed. This was because she might not be able to see Zhao Fu in the future. Zhao Fu smiled and said, What's wrong? Feng Shou shook her head. Zhao Fu smiled and said, "You can't bear to part with me?" Feng Shou nodded. Zhao Fu lightly smiled and said, "You can come whenever you miss me." Feng Shou looked at Zhao Fu in pleasant surprise and could not help but pounce on Zhao Fu. Seeing this scene, Feng Shou felt quite annoyed. How could this man be pushed by women so easily? She had thought that Zhao Fu really liked her, but it seemed that she had been completely wrong. Afterwards, Feng Shou came out with a red face and looked at Feng Shou. She understood that Feng Shou already knew about this and said, "Feng Shou, can I talk to you?" Feng Shou said, "I'll help you keep it a secret. Don't worry." Feng Shou smiled and said, "Thank you." Zhao Fu helplessly lay on the bed. This woman from the Feng family was too crazy. If it was an ordinary person, they would have died of exhaustion. Now that he did not need to consider the Wind Blade faction, there were only two factions left. Zhao Fu thought about it and decided to go and find Feng Baixiang. However, before Zhao Fu could leave, Feng Baixiang walked in with a trace of a smile. Feng Shou bowed and said, "Great Elder." Feng Baixiang nodded and smiled as she said, "You can leave first." Feng Shou said, "I'm someone sent by the family head to protect him and cannot leave his side." Feng Baixiang's expression became cold as she berated, "Could it be that you're not going to listen to my orders?" Hearing this, Feng Shou retreated. Feng Baixiang looked at Zhao Fu and gave a trace of a smile as she said, "You're that man, right?" Zhao Fu nodded and bowed, "I pay my respects to you, milady." Feng Baixiang went up and held Zhao Fu's hand as she smiled and said, "No need to be so polite." Following this, Feng Baixiang looked at Zhao Fu greedily, while Zhao Fu intentionally acted innocent and shy, causing Feng Baixiang to become even more excited, and she forced Zhao Fu to retreat step by step. A few hours later, Feng Baixiang hugged Zhao Fu and smiled as she said, "Come with me. In the future, you'll be my man. It's 100 times better than staying here." Zhao Fu said hesitantly, "The family head might not let me leave." Feng Baixiang lightly smiled and said, "Don't worry, leave her to me." Zhao Fu nodded. He also wanted to control Feng Baixiang's people. Feng Baixiang brought Zhao Fu back to her home, and after hearing about this, Feng Qingyue became very angry. Feng Baixiang knew about this, so she took the initiative to meet Feng Baixiang and gave her a condition, which was that she would support Wind on Snow as the family head in the future. This caused Feng Qingyue's anger to subside slightly, but she was still somewhat reluctant. Feng Baixiang lightly smiled and said, "I believe that you'll be able to find that man, right?" Feng Qingyue's face became slightly red as she nodded. Feng Baixiang smiled and said, "If you want him, you can come at any time. Don't avoid that man of yours. After all, you're the family head, and it wouldn't be good if such a thing were to spread." Feng Qingyue thought about it and said, "All right. I'll leave him with you for now, but I'll take him first." Feng Baixiang smiled and nodded. The moment the two of them came to an agreement, Feng Douxiang walked into Zhao Fu's room and looked at Zhao Fu, who was sitting on the table. Zhao Fu knew her identity, but he pretended not to know her and asked, "Do you need something from me?" Feng Douxiang did not say anything, and she went up and hugged Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu started to struggle with all his might. Feng Douxiang said coldly, "You better behave yourself, otherwise I'll kill you right now." Hearing this, Zhao Fu pretended to be afraid and did not dare to do anything. Feng Douxiang lightly snorted and hugged Zhao Fu as she walked to the side, bullying Zhao Fu like everyone else. Chapter 3200. Feng Baixiang walked in from outside and smiled slightly when she saw the scene in the room. Feng Douxiang was a little flustered when she saw her mother return. "Mother!" Feng Baixiang smiled and said, "Continue." Feng Douxiang blushed. Feng Baixiang watched for a while and also walked over. Over the next few days they all sank into it. In the end, they all collapsed in their rooms, while Zhao Fu walked out feeling refreshed. This was the first time he had come to Feng Baixiang's place, so Zhao Fu wandered around curiously. Many women came over and excitedly smiled as they started to move about. The men all looked at Zhao Fu with disgust and jealousy because Zhao Fu had attracted all of their women, so they did not dare to say anything. A young and beautiful woman asked nervously, "What's your name?" Zhao Fu smiled and said, "My name is Su Bai." The woman said happily, "Oh, your voice is also nice. I want to be friends with you. Is that okay? My name is Feng Tian." Zhao Fu nodded. Another woman with a sexy figure said, "I also want to be friends with you. My name is Feng Lo. Is that okay?" Zhao Fu smiled and nodded. The others also introduced themselves, wanting to be friends with Zhao Fu and also wanting to become Zhao Fu's women. They were also excited, and the situation began to get out of control. In the end, Zhao Fu was pushed into a bamboo forest by them. The men were angry when they heard the sounds in the bamboo forest. They gritted their teeth and hated Zhao Fu to death. Some men wanted to rush in to stop him, but they were directly beaten half to death by the women in the bamboo forest and thrown out. The women who came after hearing the news also kept walking into the bamboo forest. When the elders heard that such a big event had happened, they hurriedly ran over and looked at the scene in the bamboo forest with surprised expressions. A tall elder said, "Is that man a monster?" Another woman with a mature temperament said, "No, he's even scarier than a monster. Coupled with his charming appearance, even I'm tempted." The beautiful woman with a hot figure chuckled. "I'm going over. Do you want to go?" The beautiful woman blushed. "I want to go too." A few days later, Zhao Fu walked out of the bamboo forest as if nothing had happened. The bamboo forest was filled with women. Feng Baixiang looked at Zhao Fu walking out and lightly smiled. "Our Feng clan is fortunate enough to obtain a treasure like you. It is our Feng clan's greatest fortune. Look at how many women are crazy about you." Zhao Fu pretended to be embarrassed and said, "Elder, you flatter me." Feng Baixiang smiled and said, "I didn't. From now on you are my man, just call me wife." Zhao Fu smiled. "Wife?" Feng Baixiang nodded in satisfaction and leaned into Zhao Fu's embrace. "Husband, I might need your help in the future." Zhao Fu asked, "How can I help you?" Feng Baixiang smiled and said, "I hope that I can use your beauty to convince those people to support me as the patriarch. I hope that they can also support my daughter to become the next patriarch." It turned out that Feng Baixiang had not given up on the idea of becoming the patriarch and wanted to use Zhao Fu to help her achieve her goal. This was also what Zhao Fu wanted, so he pretended to be unhappy and said, "I don't want that." Feng Baixiang said coquettishly, "Good husband, please help me. I know that it is very hard for you. If I become the patriarch, I will give you anything you want." Only then did Zhao Fu nod. Feng Baixiang then brought Zhao Fu to a secret room. Inside, there were 30 or so women wearing cloaks that did not reveal their appearances. Their positions in the Feng clan were not low, and they did not belong to the three sections. Feng Baixiang smiled and said, "I have brought him here, take a good look." The women looked at Zhao Fu with greedy gazes, as if they wanted to eat Zhao Fu up. A beautiful woman with purple lips smiled and said, "We are very satisfied, but we want to inspect the goods to see if they are as magical as you say." Feng Baixiang lightly smiled and said, "No problem." The women did not stand on ceremony and walked towards Zhao Fu. One day later, Feng Baixiang smiled and said, "Is everyone satisfied?" The women nodded. The beautiful woman with purple lips smiled and said, "He is truly one of the best in the world." Another beautiful woman smiled and said, I have never had such a man before. If possible, I would even want to die for him." A tall woman said, "With him around, our future life will be very interesting." The beautiful woman smiled and said, "Whoever gets him will live a life worth it. It is a pity that I cannot monopolize him." Another beautiful woman lightly snorted, "Aren't you embarrassed? You want to monopolize such a good thing and don't know how to share it with everyone." Feng Baixiang smiled and said, "Then? The beautiful woman with purple lips smiled and said, "We will do our best to support you. I think that with him, it will be hard for you not to become the patriarch." The beautiful woman lightly smiled and said, "Whoever obtains him will obtain the Feng clan." After the women left, Feng Baixiang hugged Zhao Fu, who was lying on the ground, and said happily, "Thank you, husband." Zhao Fu lied in Feng Baixiang's embrace and said weakly, "As long as you are happy." Hearing this, Feng Baixiang's face was filled with gratitude, and she could not help but push Zhao Fu down. At night there was a bright moon in the sky that emitted a bright moonlight. Feng Ren snuck into the room and looked at Zhao Fu and said angrily, "Why didn't you come to my place these few days?" Zhao Fu explained, "They are watching me too closely, I have no way of leaving." Hearing this, Feng Ren lightly snorted, "Enough, no need to say any more." Feng Ren walked over and pressed Zhao Fu to the ground, ruthlessly bullying Zhao Fu. After that, Feng Ren hugged Zhao Fu and asked, "You have been here for so long, did you get any useful information?" Hearing this, Zhao Fu told Feng Ren about Feng Baixiang's plan. Feng Ren revealed a satisfied smile, "I understand. In the future, help me secretly convince them not to support Feng Baixiang and support me to become the Feng clan's patriarch. I will also interact with them on my own." Zhao Fu nodded, "I understand." Feng Ren looked at Zhao Fu in his embrace and his expression became much gentler. "After this is done, I will definitely make you my man and the most respected man in the Feng clan." Zhao Fu smiled and nodded. Not long after Feng Ren left, another beautiful woman snuck in. It was the Feng clan's patriarch, Feng Qingyue. Feng Qingyue looked at Zhao Fu and hugged Zhao Fu tenderly. "Darling, you have worked hard." Zhao Fu shook his head, "It's not hard at all." Feng Qingyue smiled and said, "Right now those two factions believe in you, but they don't know that you are working for me. As long as the plan succeeds, I will be able to completely control the Feng clan." Zhao Fu said in Feng Qingyue's embrace, "I will support the patriarch." Feng Qingyue happily nodded, "Husband, I will not treat you unfairly. In the future, if you don't want to do that with other women, you can reject them. I will also respect your choice." Chapter 3201. Book 1. Chapter 146. In the following days, Feng Baixiang brought Zhao Fu to approach some women. It was not just women from the Feng family but women from other families as well. She used Zhao Fu to gain their support. This made Zhao Fu feel quite impatient because he had stayed in the Feng family for a long time. He could not stay here forever, even though his days were quite comfortable. Today, Zhao Fu completely stopped pretending and sat on the Feng family's leader's seat as he called the people from the three sects over. Seeing Zhao Fu sitting there, Feng Baixiang felt quite surprised and could not understand where Zhao Fu had gotten his courage to sit there. Feng Qingyue also frowned and had a bad feeling. Feng Qiu angrily looked at Zhao Fu, planning to teach Zhao Fu a lesson later. Zhao Fu no longer looked weak and helpless, and he instead gave off the majesty of an emperor. His voice gave off a formless pressure as he said, "You've all come." Facing Zhao Fu's sudden change, the women could not react in time. Zhao Fu continued to speak, "I'm sure you're all curious about my true identity, so I'll tell you. I'm the ruler of the Qin Empire in the Heaven Awakened world. Your army in the Heaven Awakened world has long since been under my control." Hearing this, the women's expressions fell. They had never thought that things would turn out like this. They had underestimated Zhao Fu too much. Feng Qiu gave off a powerful aura as she rushed towards Zhao Fu and said furiously, "I'll kill you." Zhao Fu looked at her, and a formless and terrifying power pressed Feng Qiu to the ground, making it impossible for her to move at all. Everyone felt quite startled. This was Void Realm cultivation, and his cultivation was actually so high. If he wanted to, he could easily kill all of them. Everyone had been tricked by this man in front of them. The funny thing was that the leaders of the three sects had thought that they had Zhao Fu in their hands, but in actuality, they had been toyed with by Zhao Fu. Feng Qingyue said with a cold expression. What do you want now? Zhao Fu smiled as he said, the Feng family will take me as its ruler. Feng Qingyue said coldly, what if we refuse? Zhao Fu smiled confidently, his voice carrying a trace of an overbearing emperor. Do you have the right to refuse? Kneel. All of the women present immediately knelt on the ground, unable to resist at all. Only now did the women realize that Zhao Fu had long since left a restriction in their bodies, controlling their bodies. However, the key point was that they did not notice it at all. This man was too terrifying. Zhao Fu smiled and said, now, as long as you obediently submit to me, your status and identity will remain the same as before. Hearing this, Feng Qingyue understood that he was still the family head and said, all right. Feng Baixiang hesitated for a moment before nodding her head, I also agree. In the end, Zhao Fu looked at the wind blades on the ground. Wind Blade angrily glared at Zhao Fu. She could not accept that he had lied to her, nor could she accept that Zhao Fu was above her. She said coldly, if you want to kill me, then kill me. I definitely won't submit to you. Zhao Fu coldly laughed. He had long since wanted to teach this Wind Blade a lesson. Now that she was seeking death, Zhao Fu would immediately fulfill her wish. In front of everyone, Zhao Fu violently destroyed Wind Blade. In the end, Wind Blade could not hold on anymore and humbly begged Zhao Fu for mercy, willing to submit to Zhao Fu. She no longer looked as cold and domineering as before. Zhao Fu was quite satisfied and let her off, and he started to bully the other women. This time, Zhao Fu was the leader. One day later, Zhao Fu hugged the leaders of the three sects as he lay on the ground. Feng Qingyue asked curiously, husband, how did you control the Feng family's army in the Heaven Awakened world? We haven't heard anything yet. Zhao Fu smiled as he said, it's very simple. I used the same method I used to control you all. Feng Baixiang smiled as she said, with husband's charm, we indeed could not resist your temptation. Lust is like a knife above our heads, it's not wrong for us to lose to you. Wind Blade's face became slightly red as she said, husband, is your identity not ordinary? Otherwise, you wouldn't have such looks and aura. Zhao Fu smiled as he said, I'll tell you my true identity. I'm the Heaven Awakened world's Heaven Awakened son, the person with the Supreme Emperor star. Hearing this, the women looked at Zhao Fu in shock, and their minds went blank. They had never thought that Zhao Fu's identity would be so terrifying, and their hearts almost could not take it. Wind Blade said softly, that's right. With such perfect looks, we can accept losing to you. Zhao Fu smiled as he said, in the future, the three of you need to be more gentle with each other and not act like before. Feng Qingyue smiled as she said, I have no objections. You're our man now, and we'll take you as our master in the future. Feng Baixiang said, I have no objections either. Wind Blade thought for a moment before saying, I have no objections either. Everything I have now belongs to husband. No man has ever conquered me. Husband, you're the first person to win my heart, and I'm willing to obey you. Looking at Wind Blade, Zhao Fu felt a sense of accomplishment and said, all right, I'll go back to Qin now. Feng Qingyue smiled as she said, can we go to Qin to have a look? I want to know what kind of faction husband's faction is. Zhao Fu smiled as he said, let's go back together. Following this, Zhao Fu brought the three women back to the Heaven Awakened world. Seeing Zhao Fu bring the three women back, Wind on Snow understood that Zhao Fu had successfully taken control of the Feng family. Now the entire Feng family belonged to Zhao Fu. Feng Qingyue smiled as she said, daughter. Wind on Snow said apologetically, I'm sorry, mother. Feng Qingyue smiled as she said, I'm not blaming you, I'm just thanking you for bringing husband back to the Feng family. You've done a great service to the Feng family. Hearing this, Wind on Snow felt quite surprised and looked at Zhao Fu. She had never thought that Zhao Fu would be able to make her mother do this. Zhao Fu smiled as he hugged Wind on Snow and said, "You don't have to pretend anymore. Come back to Qin with me." Wind on Snow's face became red as she nodded. Zhao Fu brought the women back to Qin. Wind on Snow and the women entered Qin and looked around, gradually understanding Qin's true strength. When the Jin family heard about this, they were incredibly shocked. Qin was simply too terrifying. He had silently taken control of a family that was no weaker than them. Luckily, they had not chosen to resist Qin. The Shenmu Kingdom's ministers all had unsightly expressions, and they started to feel regret. If they had known, they would have destroyed Qin by hook or by crook. Now that the three factions were working together, how could the Shenmu Kingdom fight back? Right now, the Shenmu Kingdom should be afraid of Qin's attack. Shenmu Kingdom Duan immediately ordered people to build defensive structures to defend against Qin's attack. Although Zhao Fu controlled the Feng family and his faction became even more powerful, Zhao Fu did not have any intention of attacking the Shenmu Kingdom. After all, new factions would appear even if he destroyed them. He did not want to waste his energy and the lives of his soldiers. Now that the Jin family and the Feng family, the two alchemist families, were here, Qin would not be in much danger. Zhao Fu could head to the Water Realm and awaken the Water Race Imperial Star. Chapter 3202. Book 1. Chapter 147. After giving some simple instructions, Zhao Fu got up and headed towards the water region. After walking for a while, Zhao Fu found that there were battles everywhere. It was either the card world attacking the Heaven Awaken world or the alchemy world attacking the Heaven Awaken world. Whether or not they could defend against the invasions, there would be massive casualties, and the air was filled with the stench of blood. Some of the smaller factions did not even have any space to survive. Zhao Fu did not have time to worry about this and continued to head towards the water region. In actuality, these things were quite beneficial to Zhao Fu. Before, the higher beings had been waiting at the water region because they knew that Zhao Fu would go there to awaken the water race's Emperor Star. However, now that two worlds had invaded, they did not have time to pay attention to Zhao Fu. Comparatively speaking, Zhao Fu would be much safer and would not have to worry about being found by higher beings. Swish, 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 the sound of the air being torn could be heard as a few arrows containing immense force shot towards Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu frowned and waved his hand, sending out a wave of energy to knock the arrows away. A group of people from the card world appeared. They did not look like soldiers, and they wore all sorts of defensive equipment and held different weapons, looking like a group of mercenaries. During this period of time, it seemed that the card world had opened up more restrictions. Not only could people from other factions go to the Heaven Awaken world to fight, but the Night Guild had also been given some authority to allow independent people to enter the Heaven Awaken world to fight. Even though they all had different strengths and different preparations, there were many of them, and there were some powerful people among them. Right now, Zhao Fu was facing a hunting party made of independent people. They had already set the Heaven Awaken world's people as their target. Killing Zhao Fu would give them points, and if they captured Zhao Fu, they could sell him as a slave. Either way, it would be beneficial to them. The insidious-looking man coldly laughed as he said, "I found a good prey today, and should be able to get a good price for it." Everyone attacked together. Hearing this, everyone gave off a powerful aura as they charged at Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu coldly looked at this group of people and grabbed with his hand. The people rushing over felt as if they had been grabbed by a massive, formless hand, and they started to feel terrified and wanted to beg Zhao Fu to spare them. Bang! Bang bang bang, Zhao Fu clenched his fist, causing those people to explode. Blood and flesh splattered everywhere, making everyone feel disgusted. Keep moving. Zhao Fu just happened to see a group of mercenaries pressing down 20 or so young men and women. They were tied up with ropes, and some of them were slightly injured. There were no elderly or children, and because there were not many benefits, they killed the elderly and children. A decent-looking man saw Zhao Fu and could not help but beg, "Sir, save us." The group of mercenaries looked at Zhao Fu and frowned. Anyone who dared to stay outside by himself now must have a certain level of strength. The leader, a bearded man, said, "This matter has nothing to do with you, so there's no need for you to interfere. We won't attack either." It was obvious that this man did not want to fight with Zhao Fu. They did not have the confidence to do so. The young men and women pleaded as they looked at Zhao Fu. They all knew what would happen to them, and Zhao Fu was their only hope. Zhao Fu said to the bearded man, "Hurry up and piss off." The bearded man felt furious and immediately slashed at Zhao Fu. The others also attacked Zhao Fu from the side. Zhao Fu slashed out with a finger and a massive black sword light slashed out, slashing apart the incoming people. Blood flew everywhere as countless howls sounded out. This was a bloody scene. This caused everyone in the heaven-awakened world to feel a wave of fear. Zhao Fu looked at everyone and said, "You can leave now." The people hurriedly picked up the weapons on the ground and cut the ropes on their bodies. They thanked Zhao Fu before hurriedly leaving. However, before Zhao Fu had even taken a few steps, he heard many cries. That group of people had encountered a group of soldiers from the card world, and those soldiers had shot out arrows and killed those people. Zhao Fu slightly sighed and did not bother with them and continued on his way. This was the situation in the heaven-awakened world, and Zhao Fu was powerless to change it. After Zhao Fu went back to kill those soldiers, he would soon run into them again. After coming to a city, Zhao Fu planned to use a teleportation channel to go further away. However, because of the war, the teleportation channel could not be used. If he walked by himself, it would take him a few days to reach his next destination. As such, Zhao Fu found the city lord of this city. She was a chubby middle-aged woman who looked quite ordinary. Before, she did not want to see Zhao Fu, but after seeing Zhao Fu display some of his strength, she understood that Zhao Fu was a powerful expert. Her name was Wan Yanli, and she chuckled as she sat on a chair and said to Zhao Fu, "What is your name, sir?" Zhao Fu replied, "I'm called Mo Yi." Wan Yanli smiled as she said, "Sir, you should know about the current situation. It's not that I don't want to let you use it." Zhao Fu said, "Just tell me what the price is. I'm willing to use some treasures and spirit medicines in exchange for the right to use the teleportation channel." Wan Yanli smiled as she said, "Sir, I'm not interested in such things. I've recently encountered some trouble, and I wonder if Sir can help me resolve it?" Zhao Fu understood her goal and said, "Go ahead." Wan Yanli said, "To the southwest of us there's a card world army that has 200,000 or so people, and they've been threatening the safety of our city. I want you to help me assassinate the general of this army, and I'll arrange a group of people to cooperate with you." Zhao Fu nodded, "I'll go." Wan Yanli looked quite startled. "What?" Zhao Fu said, "I'll go kill that general now. Wait a bit, I'll be back soon." Wan Yanli said in shock, "You're going now? Alone?" Zhao Fu nodded. Following this, Zhao Fu left the city and came to the southwest of the Card World Army, and he stood in the sky and looked down at the Card World Army. Seeing Zhao Fu in the sky, the soldiers immediately became alert, preparing to attack Zhao Fu at any time. Zhao Fu said, "Who's your general?" A tall young man wearing armor walked out and looked at Zhao Fu in the sky as he asked, "I am, what do you want?" Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "I want to borrow your life." The young man was furious. "Kill!" Swish, 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 countless arrows shot towards Zhao Fu like raindrops, giving off a sharp aura that could cause people's hairs to stand on end. Zhao Fu felt quite disdainful and waved his hand, causing a gust of wind to blow away the countless arrows. The powerful wind caused the soldiers to lose their footing, and they looked quite afraid. Chapter 3203. Book 1, Chapter 148. Battle. Zhao Fu slashed out with his finger, opening up a massive black hole. Countless traces of demonic chi flowed out, and a terrifying aura covered the sky. Arg! Countless roars resounded as demons drilled out of the hole and pounced on the card world below like a tide. The two sides quickly fought fiercely. Some arrows pierced through the demons' bodies, causing them to turn into demonic chi and dissipate. A demon leapt down and pierced a claw through a card soldier's chest, while a card soldier raised his saber and slashed at the demon, splitting it in half. A howl sounded out as a card soldier's arm was torn off by a demon, causing blood to spurt out. A demon leapt onto a card soldier and bit down on that card soldier's body, devouring the card soldier's flesh and blood. A card soldier coldly threw out a card, which turned into a fireball and sent 2 or 3 demons flying back. A demon slashed out with its claw, sending a card soldier flying back. The card army and demon army intensely fought, and Zhao Fu looked at the general. Just as he was about to act, a massive spear light containing shocking power shot towards Zhao Fu incredibly quickly. Zhao Fu gave off a wave of power, forming a black defensive barrier. The spear light slammed against the barrier, causing a muffled explosion to ring out. A ripple of light spread out, and the spear light turned into many specks of light. Zhao Fu looked to the side and saw a group of cavalry charging towards him. There were roughly 2,000 or so of them. Boom! The cavalry charged and vigorously stabbed out with their spears, causing their power to gather into a massive ray of light that shot towards Zhao Fu with unstoppable momentum. Zhao Fu disdainfully laughed and tapped out with his finger, causing a terrifying power to strike the ray of light. A massive explosion sounded out as shock waves spread out, turning into a wild gale. The cavalry still wanted to attack. Zhao Fu grabbed out with one hand, causing a massive formless hand to grab the 2,000 cavalry. It vigorously gripped, causing the cavalry to explode and blood to spurt everywhere. When everyone caught sight of this, their hearts were filled with fear. That group of cavalrymen was their trump card. But against this man, they couldn't even withstand a single blow. The strength of this man had far exceeded their imaginations. Looking at the chaotic entanglement below, a pale white power condensed in Zhao Fu's palm, forming a seed that fell to the ground. Swish, 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 countless pale white tendrils rapidly grew out, and the sharp tendrils pierced through the bodies of those people. Blood splattered everywhere, and blood-curdling screams could be heard. Zhao Fu's gaze landed on the general. The general's face was filled with fear and he wanted to run. Zhao Fu instantly disappeared and reappeared in front of the general. He grabbed the general's throat with one hand and twisted, breaking the general's throat. Then, Zhao Fu took the general's corpse and shot into the sky. The demons disappeared and the vines stopped growing. Looking at the blood splattering everywhere and the corpses, the soldiers looked terrified and immediately ran away. Now that their general was dead, there was no one to command them. Zhao Fu threw the corpse in front of Wang Yanli. He said, "It's done." Wang Yanli had long since heard about what Zhao Fu had done, and she respectfully smiled as she said, "Thank you, sir, for your help. I represent the entire city in thanking you." Zhao Fu replied, Can I use the teleportation channel now?" Wang Yanli lightly laughed as she said, "Of course you can. When will sir have time? I want to properly receive sir." Zhao Fu said, "There's no need." Hearing this, Wang Yanli did not force him. She brought Zhao Fu to a teleportation channel and personally activated it. Zhao Fu walked in, and a light flashed as Zhao Fu disappeared. A man next to Wang Yanli said, "That sir is so powerful, he can destroy an army by himself. It would have been great if he had stayed in our city." Wang Yanli lightly laughed, "Keep dreaming, how could such a major figure stay in our city? Now that the card army has been destroyed, we can be at ease for a while. However, we can't be careless, the next faction will spawn soon." The man also nodded seriously. After teleporting to a city, Zhao Fu looked around and found that he was the only person here. It was most likely that all other teleportation channels had been closed. Seeing Zhao Fu teleport over, a soldier asked Zhao Fu where he had teleported from and if he had permission. Zhao Fu answered some questions, and the soldier did not make things difficult for Zhao Fu and allowed Zhao Fu to leave. Zhao Fu did not stay in this city for long, and he continued on his way. Because of the battle, Zhao Fu felt that his speed had been greatly reduced, and he did not know when he would be able to reach the water region. This place was not too far away from the ancient stem domain. Zhao Fu flew in the sky. Boom! 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 Massive explosions sounded out as rays of light containing immense power shot towards Zhao Fu, seeming to be able to destroy everything. Countless explosions sounded out as light scattered in all directions, and the terrifying shock waves caused people's bodies to feel a chill. Zhao Fu released a black defensive barrier and blocked that wave of attack. This wave of attacks was evidently from the alchemy holy beasts, and Zhao Fu looked into the distance and saw a sparrow-like alchemy holy beast in the sky. After glancing at the alchemy holy beast, Zhao Fu quickly flew away, not wanting to waste time with them. The alchemist people on the alchemy holy beast looked at this scene in shock. Their alchemy holy beasts had focused their attacks on that person, but that person was completely fine. His strength was extraordinary. They felt quite afraid. If Zhao Fu had attacked, they might have died here. Luckily, Zhao Fu only glanced at them before flying away. They did not dare to casually attack, and they quickly flew away from this region on their alchemy holy beast. After Zhao Fu flew for a while, massive explosions sounded out as rays of light containing immense power shot towards Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu breathed out and a wave of power spread out, forming a black defensive barrier that blocked this wave of attack. This alchemy holy beast was an enormous tortoise-like holy beast, and it was slightly larger than the previous alchemy holy beast. A terrifying shockwave spread out, but Zhao Fu was still not injured at all. At most, there were some small cracks on the defensive barrier, but he did not take much damage. Seeing this, the alchemy holy beast turned and ran. Zhao Fu could not be bothered to continue chasing. This was the disadvantage of flying in the sky. He was a complete target and everyone wanted to hit him. This also showed how dangerous it was for a person to travel alone. Zhao Fu was quite powerful and was immune to these attacks. If it was an ordinary person facing such a terrifying attack, their body would have been blasted into smithereens. Chapter 3204. Book 1, Chapter 149. Translated by Hypersheep 325. Edited by Micur. Zhao Fu quickly flew away from this region. A convoy of thousands of people was desperately running away because there was a group of Card World soldiers chasing after them. The Teak Tree Kingdom was a spirit kingdom. It was very powerful and had a good reputation. However, in the face of the continuous attacks of the three card kingdoms, it was unable to resist. The kingdom was breached and its king was killed by an expert. The group of people running away was the Teak royal family. The Card World soldiers continuously chased after them and killed the Teak soldiers, while the Teak people continuously retaliated. The Teak elites were defending at the back. They were not weak and had good equipment, and they had a lot of respect, so they could temporarily defend against the Card World soldiers. The carriage in front belonged to the royal family of Teak country. The Card World soldiers continued to chase, and their numbers continuously increased, gradually forming an encirclement. A valiant-looking female general with short, shiny hair immediately yelled, "Heed my orders and stop these Card World soldiers to the death. We must let the royal family escape. They are the hope of our Teak kingdom." Yes. The soldiers obeyed and rode their horses towards the pursuing Card World soldiers. The two sides clashed, and the sounds of weapons clashing continuously sounded out. Blood flew everywhere as people continuously died and fell to the ground. Even though the Teak soldiers were incredibly courageous, they could not stop the Card World soldiers in numbers. They were gradually destroyed by the Card World soldiers, and the female general also suffered some injuries. In the end, the Card World soldiers surrounded the Teak royal family. The remaining people of the Teak Tree Nation gathered together, and their faces were very ugly. A handsome and sunny man rode out from within the Card World soldiers and looked at the Teak general as he smiled and said, "You have nowhere to run. It's best if you surrender as soon as possible, and Our Majesty might spare your lives." The general coldly harumphed and said, "We definitely won't surrender." The handsome and sunny man smiled as he said, "I quite admire you, but you have no other choice or else you'll die. I'll say it one last time, put down your weapons and submit to me." A noble-looking woman with long, lustrous hair walked out of a carriage and bowed before calling out, "Queen! This woman is the Teak Queen, Yumushin." Yumushin said, "You've already destroyed my Teak country. Why won't you let us live?" The sunny man said, "You can't blame us for this. If we let you go, there will be endless troubles in the future." Yumushin said, "You're a faction from the Card World, and you can leave the Heaven Awakened world at any time. We can't threaten you at all. I can give you all of my treasures in exchange for letting us leave." The man looked at Yumushin and said, "I can't do this. You'd better go back and talk to His Majesty." At this moment, a figure flew over from the sky. Both sides looked at Zhao Fu, who was flying in the sky. Seeing the people from the Heaven Awakened world flying over, the sunny man did not hesitate and said, "Shoot him down." Arrows flew towards Zhao Fu, but Zhao Fu waved his hand and knocked them away. Seeing this, Yumushin felt quite delighted and hurriedly called out, "Sir, please help us. We'll give you great rewards." The sunny man could sense that Zhao Fu was not simple, and he said, "This matter has nothing to do with you. It's best for you to scram, or else you'll die here." Zhao Fu stood in the sky and lightly laughed. "Is that so? I won't be leaving." The bright-looking young man coldly harumphed and raised his spear as he vigorously shot it towards Zhao Fu, bringing with it a powerful force. As the spear shot towards Zhao Fu leaned to the side, avoiding the spear. At the same time, he grabbed the spear and threw it back at the sunny man. Swish! The sound of the air being torn could be heard as the spear pierced through the sunny man's chest and landed on the ground behind him. A massive shockwave blasted out, causing the ground to crumble and the soldiers around him to be blasted back. The power that Zhao Fu displayed caused everyone present to fall silent, and everyone looked at Zhao Fu in shock. Another Card World general called out, "Attack together, there's only one of him. Don't be afraid." A group of soldiers gave off powerful auras and rushed towards Zhao Fu. Boom! Zhao Fu's expression was calm as he stretched out his hand and pressed down, causing a massive formless hand to press down on those people's bodies. A massive handprint appeared on the ground, and the people inside were badly mangled and died horrible death. The Card World soldiers looked at Zhao Fu in fear. The Teak people felt quite delighted. Even though they did not know who Zhao Fu was, at least Zhao Fu was from the Heaven Awakened world and had killed many Card World soldiers. Boom! An explosion sounded out as a powerful aura spread out, causing everyone's expressions to change. This was the aura of an Emperor Heaven Realm expert. A beautiful woman with wavy golden hair and wearing a long robe appeared in the sky. She was called Amos, and she was a famous expert in the Card Kingdom. It was said that she could even exchange a few blows with Void Realm experts. Seeing this, the Card World soldiers were delighted and called out, "We greet Lady." Amos looked at the corpses on the ground and coldly laughed as she said, "You're quite bold to dare to kill our people." The Teak man's face became pale. He had never thought that the Card Kingdom's expert would arrive so quickly. Zhao Fu lightly laughed as he said, "It was you who attacked me first. Are you blaming me? At most, we don't owe each other anything. If there's nothing else, I'll be leaving." Interlude. The perfect copy of the old version of the book Chasing Artifact app, Mimi reading /w 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 /m /I /m /e /a /d /c /o /m. Hearing that Zhao Fu was going to leave, Yu Muxin hurriedly said, "Please save us, sir, we're willing to give everything to sir." There were so many card world soldiers, and with this expert, if Zhao Fu left, they would have no hope at all. Amos coldly laughed as she said, "You killed our people and you want to run? Keep dreaming." Amos waved her hand and 3 cards appeared, turning into a massive fiery flame that rushed towards Zhao Fu, instantly devouring Zhao Fu's body. The teak man felt quite startled. How had Zhao Fu been dealt with so quickly? A trace of disdain appeared on Amos's face. However, after the fiery flame dissipated, Zhao Fu stood there as if nothing had happened and looked at Amos with a trace of mockery. Amos was infuriated and raised a hand, causing a massive wave of energy to spread out from her palm. A massive flame surged out and turned into a massive flaming bird, causing the surrounding temperature to rise. The flaming bird flapped its wings, bringing with it a heat wave as it flew towards Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu grabbed out with his hand, and a large formless hand grabbed the flaming bird. The flaming bird struggled in Zhao Fu's hand, but Zhao Fu tightened his grip, causing the flaming bird to cry out before turning into flames and dissipating. Amos felt quite startled. Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "What other methods do you have? Quickly use them." Chapter 3205. Book 1. Chapter 150 translated by Hypersheep 325 edited by Micur. Amos's expression turned solemn. Only now did she realize that Zhao Fu was much more powerful than her. It was very likely that he was an emptiness realm expert. Amos spread her hands, and cards appeared before her. There were hundreds of them, and they all had different fire runes drawn on them. Under Amos's control, the many cards were distributed all over her body. The cards emitted countless flames, and the flames continuously fused and formed a huge western fire dragon, emitting a powerful aura. This was Amos's most powerful technique, and it was also the reason why she could fight against an emptiness realm expert for a few moves. Zhao Fu smiled, but his tone was still disdainful. "That's it," Amos shouted inwardly in anger. "Watch carefully." Boom! The fire dragon ignited with ferocious flames, bringing with it a scorching aura. It flew towards Zhao Fu as if it could burn everything, and the surrounding void turned the color of fire. The people on the ground were sweating profusely, and fear surged in their hearts. It was as if they were in flames. Roar! An extremely domineering dragon roar sounded, and a terrifying dragon's might seemed to shatter the earth. It blasted the body of the fire dragon, and the body of the fire dragon instantly collapsed. Amos spat out a mouthful of blood, and countless sparks drifted down. Amos looked at Zhao Fu with a pale face. She now understood how terrifying Zhao Fu's power was. Countless soldiers in the card world also looked at Zhao Fu in fear. The powerful Amos was so weak in front of this person. They could not accept such a powerful person. Amos immediately said, "Retreat." Amos's body transformed into a beam of light and shot towards the horizon. When the soldiers heard this, they immediately retreated in panic. Zhao Fu smiled as he looked at Amos, who was running away, and said, "You offended me, and you still want to run?" A few iron chains shot out from the void and bound the escaping Amos. The iron chains contracted and pulled Amos in front of Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu looked at the escaping card soldiers. A wave of sword energy was released and demonic swords condensed in the air, giving off a massive demonic might. Xiao xiao xiao, countless demon swords descended, piercing through the bodies of the card soldiers. Blood splattered everywhere, and pitiful cries rang out continuously. This was a massacre. In less than a moment, Zhao Fu had killed all the card soldiers. The ground was covered with corpses, emitting a pungent smell of blood. The Teak people on the ground were also looking at Zhao Fu in fear. Amos looked at Zhao Fu angrily. Zhao Fu held Amos with one arm. Amos struggled with all her might. "You bastard, what are you trying to do?" Zhao Fu hugged her and descended from the sky. He landed in front of Yu Muxin and said, "I'm here to collect the reward." Yu Muxin smiled and said, "Thank you, sir, for saving my life. I'll give you the reward now." Yu Muxin took out a spatial ring and gave it to Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu looked at Yu Muxin and said, "I'm not interested in these things." Hearing this, Yu Muxin looked at Zhao Fu's gaze and understood Zhao Fu's intentions. She felt quite angry, but thinking about how powerful Zhao Fu was and how if Zhao Fu left, they would not be able to live for long. They needed Zhao Fu's help. Yu Muxin flirtatiously smiled as she said, "Don't you want me to make some preparations?" Hearing this, Zhao Fu smiled and nodded. The group continued to travel quickly for a while before finally stopping to rest in a hidden valley. The people on the carriages all got off. Most of them were women, but there were also elderly and children. There were more than 100 of them. Zhao Fu hugged Amos as they flew. After landing in the valley, Amos said coldly, "Just what do you want to do to me?" Zhao Fu evilly smiled and said, "What do you think?" Amos said coldly, "I'll definitely kill you, you bastard. If you don't believe me, you can try." Zhao Fu lightly smiled and said, "I'll try immediately." At that moment, Yu Muxin walked over and did not care about the scene in front of her. She smiled and said, "It's fine now. I'll give you the reward." Zhao Fu said, "Why is it just you?" Yu Muxin frowned. Zhao Fu shamelessly said, "You said before that you'll give everything to me. You're not lying to me, are you?" Hearing this, Yu Muxin felt quite angry. This fellow was not any worse than those card soldiers. Not only did he want her, but he also wanted to harm other women. However, she could not make him angry because he could kill them all. From how he had massacred the card soldiers, Yu Muxin knew that Zhao Fu killed without batting an eye and was extremely vicious. Yu Muxin still wanted to try and said, "I'll properly serve you by myself. Please let them go." Zhao Fu lightly smiled and said, "You can't do it by yourself. Hurry up, otherwise don't blame me." Yu Muxin tightly clenched her fists and stared at Zhao Fu. She felt quite angry and humiliated, but in the end she still made a decision. Yu Muxin turned and returned with 50 or so women. Most of them were princes and princesses, and there were also some wives and daughters of ministers. "Are you satisfied now?" Yu Muxin held back her anger and squeezed out a smile as she said to Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu looked at the female general and smiled as he said, "There's another one there." Yu Muxin could not take it any more and said angrily, "She's our Teak general. Why are we giving so many people to you? Isn't that just one?" Seeing that she was so angry, Zhao Fu smiled as he said, Yu Muxin angrily glared at Zhao Fu and called the female general over. Her name was Teak-yi. Teak-yi did not understand what was going on and bowed as she said, "Queen, what do you need from me?" Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "Of course there's something good." Teak-yi looked at Zhao Fu in confusion. She had a good impression of this man who had saved them. The group walked towards a rocky area. After some time, a little boy asked, "What did Mother go there for? Why isn't she back yet?" An elderly woman sighed as she said, "Your mother is repaying that person. She'll be back soon." The little boy nodded as he said, "That person is so amazing and saves so many of us. Mother should properly repay him." The elderly woman looked at the innocent little boy and shook her head as she sighed. The remaining elderly people naturally knew what had happened, but there was nothing they could do. They were so old, so if they died, they died. However, these children were the future of Teak, and they might be needed to restore Teak. It was for the future of Teak that they had done this. Some of the elderly people could not help but tear up as they felt that they had sacrificed too much for Teak. More importantly, they needed Zhao Fu's strength, and with Zhao Fu by their side, they would not be in danger in the future. However, they would also be bullied by that person in the future. Chapter 3206. Book 1, Chapter 151. Awakening. The night breeze blew lightly, making everyone feel a trace of coolness. Amos coldly harumphed, "Can you let me go now?" Zhao Fu looked at her. "When did I say you could leave?" Amos said angrily, "You've already done this to me, and you still can't let me leave?" Zhao Fu lightly laughed. Amos angrily wanted to attack Zhao Fu, but the power within her body immediately sealed her body, causing her to only be able to glare at Zhao Fu. Yumushin leaned into Zhao Fu's embrace and said softly, "What do you plan to do with us?" Zhao Fu said, "I'm going to leave here tomorrow, and I'm going to the water region." Yumushin frowned. Right now their safety depended on Zhao Fu. If Zhao Fu left, what would they do? She said, "Are you just going to abandon us like this?" Zhao Fu said, "The water region is even more dangerous, and there are many of you." Yumushin looked at Zhao Fu and said, "I want you to take us to a safe place to play." Zhao Fu said, "No." Yumushin felt quite uncomfortable, and tears appeared in her eyes. She had placed all of her hopes on Zhao Fu, but Zhao Fu was an irresponsible person, wanting to abandon them after playing with them. Tik-e punched Zhao Fu's chest. "How could you do this to us?" Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "I know what you're thinking, but I really don't have the time. However, I'll take responsibility for you. This Amos's power is quite good, and she can protect you. I'll give her control to you. Also, there's a fire kingdom in the southeast. You can go there, and you just need to tell the queen there that I told you to go." Yumushin gave a trace of a smile. "Thank you." Amos said angrily, "Just kill me. I will never become your puppet and let you control me." Zhao Fu smiled and said, "All right, I'll refine you into a puppet now. That way, it'll be easier to control you. I was thinking that if you perform well, I'll let you go free." An evil power radiated from Amos's body, and Amos felt her consciousness being pulled into darkness. A feeling of fear filled her body, and Amos cried out in fear. "Don't want it? I am willing to listen to you." That evil power immediately disappeared, and Zhao Fu chuckled. He looked at Amos playfully. Amos turned her head away. He said, "Is what you said true? As long as I perform well, you can give me my freedom." Zhao Fu nodded. Amos glanced at Zhao Fu. He didn't say anything either. The next day, "You Mushin are like a young lady?" She tidied up Zhao Fu's clothes and asked, "When will you be back?" Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "I'm not sure." Yumushin said softly, "I hope that you can come back soon." Zhao Fu smiled and nodded. Following this, Zhao Fu turned into a ray of light and disappeared over the horizon. Yumushin said to Tiki, "Let's get ready and go. We're going to the Fire Kingdom." Tiki said, but I wonder what kind of faction that Fire Kingdom is." Yumushin said, "What does that faction have to do with him? If he wants us to go, it should be quite safe." Amos lightly harumphed, "There are people from our card world? There is no safe place in the Heaven Awaken world." Yumushin regained her noble look and glanced at Amos. "Is that so? Why are you here?" Amos angrily looked at Yumushin. Yumushin ignored Amos and returned to the group. He brought his men back to the team. Did Amy follow him? She was now in Yumushin's hands. Zhao Fu flew to another faction's territory. Boom, 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 a series of loud explosions rang out in the distance. Was this the body of a god refiner beast? This faction was currently being attacked by a god refiner faction. However, this faction was not bad and had the strength to defend against this god refiner faction. After coming here, Zhao Fu decided to use the teleportation channel. Even though the teleportation channel was not closed, the spots were limited. Zhao Fu found the official in charge of the teleportation channel and said that the spots for this week had already been sold for an astronomical price, so he could not give Zhao Fu another spot. Zhao Fu offered to buy it at the same price, but the official in charge of the teleportation channel said that if Zhao Fu wanted to use it, he could go to the Spirit Illusion Financial Group. Hearing this, Zhao Fu went to the Spirit Illusion Financial Group. The person who received Zhao Fu was a tall and big old man with white hair. He smiled and said, "Guest, you also want to use the teleportation channel?" Zhao Fu nodded. "I'm willing to pay 4 times the official price to buy a spot." The old man chuckled and said, "Our Spirit Illusion Financial Group does not need these things. If Guest wants to obtain a spot, you'll need to help our Spirit Illusion Financial Group." Zhao Fu asked, "What is it?" The old man smiled and said, "Come with me." Zhao Fu followed the old man to an empty space, where there were 10 or so people. The old man smiled and said, "These are all people who want to obtain a spot. However, there's only one spot, and whoever is the strongest will obtain the spot." Zhao Fu walked towards the 10 or so people and said, "I want this spot, you can leave now." Hearing this arrogant tone, the 10 or so people were displeased. A valiant-looking big man shouted, "Brat, are you seeking death?" Boom! Zhao Fu did not even look at him and punched out with his palm. A terrifying force sent the big man flying back. The big man crashed to the ground and coughed up a large mouthful of blood before fainting. Everyone felt quite shocked as they looked at Zhao Fu. The old man also gave a trace of a surprised smile. Zhao Fu's tone was calm, but it contained a trace of domineeringness. "Who else wants to snatch it?" A cold-looking young man said, "I want to give it a try." Shing! The cold-looking young man stabbed out with his sword and a massive violet sword light stabbed towards Zhao Fu, giving off a powerful aura. This cold-looking young man was indeed not weak. Zhao Fu stood there and pointed out with his finger. Boom! The violet sword light turned into motes of light and dissipated, and the cold-looking young man was sent flying and crashed to the ground as blood flowed out of his mouth. Seeing this, the others did not say anything and left this place. The old man smiled and said, "Congratulations, guest." Zhao Fu looked at the old man and asked, "What else do you want?" The old man smiled and said, "Guest, we need you to accompany our young master when he leaves as a temporary guard." Zhao Fu said, "No problem." The old man bowed and said, "Thank you." The old man brought Zhao Fu to another young man. This young man had a delicate and handsome face, and he was the young master of the Spirit Fantasy Financial Group, Ling Yu. Ling Yu looked at Zhao Fu and gave a slight smile. "Thank you for your trouble." Zhao Fu replied, "You're welcome." Ling Yu brought another young man and Zhao Fu to the teleportation channel and handed 3 command medallions to the official in charge of the teleportation channel. Following this, the teleportation channel activated and the 3 of them disappeared. Chapter 3207. Book 1, Chapter 152. After teleporting to a new city, Spiritual Blessing said with a smile, "Let's go." Zhao Fu's mission was not as simple as accompanying Ling Yu to use the teleportation portal. He also had to protect Ling Yu as he headed to the Martial Principle sect. The Martial Principle sect was very famous, and Ling Yu was one of its disciples. Due to the war, he could not return to the Martial Principle sect directly, so he could only use this method. This place was not very far from the Martial Principle sect. It would only take a day to reach the vicinity of the Martial Principle sect, which was why the journey was so dangerous. After the deed was done, Zhao Fu would also receive a reward. The 3 of them walked towards the exit. "Junior brother!" A man's voice rang out. Ling Yu turned and saw an elegant-looking man in white clothes, and he called out happily, "Senior apprentice brother Zhang." His name was Zhang Yuzi, a core disciple of the Martial Principle sect. Zhang Yuzi stepped forward and said with a smile, "Why are you here?" "I can't return to the teleportation formation directly. I can only teleport here before returning to the Martial Principle sect." Zhang Yuzi said with a smile, I also want to return to the martial principle sect. Let's go together. Ling Yu said happily, with senior brother Zhang here, I don't have to worry about any danger on the way. Zhang Yuzi smiled. It has been dangerous recently. Not only the people from the card world and the alchemy world, but also some hostile forces from the martial principle sect. They have taken this opportunity to ambush us, and many of our disciples have died. Ling Yu nodded. Zhang Yuzi smiled and said, Let's go. Ling Yu followed beside Zhang Yuzi. Zhao Fu and the other person also followed behind. Zhao Fu was directly ignored by Zhang Yuzi because he didn't need to care about a bodyguard. Not long after they left the city, they encountered danger. A group of gold refiner tribesmen surrounded them with cold smiles on their faces, and an ugly man among them shouted, Hurry up and call it out. Zhang Yuzi smiled and said, You're looking for the wrong one. The ugly man said coldly. Then don't blame us? Let's go. Hearing this, the gold refiner tribesmen held their weapons and gave off an imposing aura. Ferociously charging towards Zhao Fu and the others? Clear sword spell. Zhang Yuzi unsheathed the sword on his waist and swung it a few times. A few sword lights sent the alchemist master flying. He fell to the ground and didn't even have the strength to get up. The ugly man's expression changed. He turned around and fled. Zhang Yuzi thrust his sword forward. A ray of sword light shot out from behind and pierced through the man's chest, causing him to fall to the ground. Junior brother, don't go easy on people from the card world and the alchemy world, Zhang Yuzi reminded him like an elder. Ling Yu said with admiration. Senior brother. They continued to move forward. Suddenly, Zhang Yuzi stopped and his expression became serious. The surrounding atmosphere immediately became heavy. Zhang Yuzi said, Come out. I found you. Hearing that, two men who looked almost the same walked out, and one of them said in praise. Not bad, you've discovered us so quickly. Zhang Yuzi said. Why are you following me? The man smiled and said, We know you're hard to deal with. But you are no match for us? I'll give you a chance to leave? Just leave those three people behind. Ling Yu sensed their powerful auras and looked at Zhang Yuzi worriedly. Zhang Yuzi said coldly, He's my junior brother. Am I that kind of person to abandon him and escape? The man laughed savagely and said, Then there's no other way. Boom. Boom. The two men exploded out with powerful auras and charged at Zhang Yuzi like two ferocious beasts. Zhang Yuzi held his sword and charged forward as well. The two men's fists contained shocking power as they continuously punched at Zhang Yuzi. Zhang Yuzi dodged and attacked at the same time, temporarily not falling into a disadvantage. However, after a few moves, due to the two men's excellent coordination, Zhang Yuzi started to feel strained. Bang! One of the men punched out and Zhang Yuzi blocked with his sword. A wave of energy spread out and Zhang Yuzi was forced to take 2 to 3 steps back. Ling Yu immediately said, Quickly go and help my senior brother. Hearing that, Ling Yu and the guard took out a long saber and slashed at one of the men, creating a massive saber light. The man dodged to the side and easily dodged the attack. The guard continuously slashed out with his saber, bringing with it rays of saber light that were incredibly ferocious. The man continuously dodged and found an opportunity to kick the guard's abdomen. The guard was sent flying 6 or 7 meters and coughed up a mouthful of blood. Looking at this man's strength, he was much stronger than the guard, and the guard was not a match for him. However, the guard quickly stood up and continued to fight with the man. With the guard taking some of the pressure, Zhang Yuzi did not feel as much pressure dealing with the other man as before. Shing! Zhang Yuzi slashed out with his sword, sending out a sharp sword light that slashed open a wound on the man's shoulder. The man gave off a wave of power that turned into a massive beast fang and imprinted itself on Zhang Yuzi's body. Both of them took a few steps back from the impact. Both of them were also injured. Ling Yu said to Zhao Fu anxiously, Go and help my senior brother as well. Zhao Fu said calmly, My job is to protect you, so I can't leave your side right now. Also, I'm only here to temporarily protect you and am not your subordinate, so you can't give me orders. Lingyu looked at Zhao Fu angrily and said, I understand, Zhao Fu can't be relied on at all. Why did he bring his own guard? He wanted to rush over, but his strength was even weaker and he would not be able to help much. Zhang Yuzi and the man continued to fight. Sword light and fist images intersected, causing sounds to continuously ring out. Wild gales blew out in all directions, and the two of them were evenly matched. The guard was at a disadvantage against the other man, and the man continuously attacked while the guard could only passively defend. The man grasped an opportunity and punched the guard's chest, sending him flying and crashing to the ground, losing the ability to fight. The man wanted to go and help the other man to defeat Zhang Yuzi, but the other man said, I'll stall him while you deal with the other two. After that, we'll deal with him. Hearing that, the man quickly charged towards Lingyu. It did not take long for him to arrive before Lingyu. He threw a punch with enough power to shatter boulders towards Lingyu. Lingyu dodged to the side in fear, revealing Zhao Fu behind him. The man looked at Zhao Fu and his fist did not weaken at all. Instead, it became even more ferocious as he punched towards Zhao Fu's chest. Zhao Fu stood there, his expression not changing. He stretched out a hand and easily grabbed the man's fist, causing the man to feel quite startled. He had never thought that things would turn out like this. Crack! Zhao Fu grabbed the man's fist and twisted, breaking the man's arm. The man cried out and took a few steps back. The guard and Lingyu looked at Zhao Fu in shock. Chapter 3208. Book 1, Chapter 153. Battle. Zhang Yuzi and the other man stopped and looked at Zhao Fu in surprise. Zhao Fu stood there and looked at the injured man. He vigorously slammed out with his palm, and a massive palm energy blasted towards the man. The man had nowhere to run and was sent flying. He crashed to the ground and blood flowed out of his mouth, and he did not even have the strength to crawl back up. The other man hurriedly called out, "Little brother!" The man quickly rushed over and picked up the injured man, wanting to run. Zhao Fu stretched out his hand and grabbed, and a large formless hand grabbed the man and grip. Bang! The man's body exploded, and countless pieces of flesh and blood splattered everywhere. Seeing that his big brother had been killed, the injured man lay on the ground and looked at Zhao Fu hatefully. Zhao Fu's hand descended and a formless energy landed on the man's body, smashing him into the ground and causing him to die. Seeing this scene, the others looked at Zhao Fu in fear. Zhao Fu's expression did not change as he said, "Let's go." Hearing this, the three of them followed. Zhang Yuzi looked at Zhao Fu and could not help but ask, "Junior apprentice brother, why is your bodyguard so powerful?" Lingyu shook his head and said, "I don't know either. The family's elders invited him to protect us on the way to the Martial Path sect. I'm quite surprised that he's so powerful." Zhang Yuzi asked, "Do you know who he is? He doesn't seem simple at all." Lingyu replied, "I'm not sure." Zhang Yuzi said, "With him here, there shouldn't be any dangers on the way." The group continued onwards. A massive aura spread out from ahead, causing the ground to violently tremble. Zhang Yuzi's expression immediately became serious because he understood that the Gold Refinement race's Gold Refinement Holy Beast had appeared. However, this Gold Refinement Holy Beast did not seem to be targeting them and was instead attacking in another direction. Rays of light containing immense power tore through the sky as a tall and slim woman flew into the sky and took out a copper mirror. She sent a wave of power into the copper mirror, causing it to immediately become dozens of meters big, and the rays of light that shot out were reflected in all directions. Bang! 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 Explosions rang out, and the beams of light that shot into the surroundings blasted large craters in the surroundings. The ground continuously shook violently, and a few trees were knocked down. A several hundred-meter-long refinement sacred beast that looked like a wild boar rushed out. This was the first time Spirit Blessing had seen such a huge divine refinement beast, and a shocked expression appeared on his face. Zhang Yuzi's expression turned solemn. He understood that such a large alchemy sacred beast was very difficult to deal with. Zhao Fu's expression did not change. Roar! The alchemical divine beast gave a massive roar and shot out a massive beam of light that contained destructive power towards the woman in front of it. The woman used the copper mirror to block in front of her and sent a wave of power into the copper mirror, causing it to give off many rays of light. Boom! The massive beam of light slammed into the copper mirror, causing a terrifying shock wave to ripple out. The beam of light continued to attack, causing a slight crack to appear on the copper mirror, but it was able to absorb the massive power. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out as the copper mirror shot out a massive beam of light. It contained astonishing power as it shot towards the alchemy holy beast, sending it flying. A large crater appeared on its body. The alchemy holy beast got up and furiously looked at the woman, and it gave off a massive aura as it ferociously rushed at the woman. The woman sent the alchemy holy beast over and flew higher into the sky. The copper mirror in her hand shot out another beam of light, which quickly shot towards the alchemy holy beast. The alchemy holy beast dodged, avoiding the beam of light, and its body ferociously leapt up as it bit towards the woman in the sky. The woman flew higher, causing the alchemy holy beast's attack to miss. The alchemy holy beast landed on the ground, and its cannons aimed at the woman in the sky, causing beams of light to rapidly shoot towards the woman. The woman immediately moved the copper mirror below her, and stretched out her hands, sending a massive wave of power into it. The copper mirror immediately became a few hundred meters bigger, and was not any smaller than the alchemy holy beast. It looked like a very large mirror as it floated above the alchemy holy beast. The beams of light that shot up were absorbed by the copper mirror. The copper mirror gave off an even greater aura. Boom! 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 Countless larger beams of light shot down from the copper mirror and landed on the alchemy holy beast's body. Explosions continuously sounded out as blinding light spread out. After the shock wave subsided, the alchemy holy beast had been destroyed and fell to the ground. Ling Yu could not help but say, "She's so powerful." Zhang Yuzi nodded, she's indeed very powerful. Even with my power, I would not be able to deal with the alchemy holy beast so easily. The woman descended from the sky. Zhao Fu and the others went ahead and met the woman. Apart from her, there was also a young girl who looked quite similar to her. Zhang Yuzi smiled as he walked over and said, "We're disciples of the martial path sect. I'm called Zhang Yuzi and this is my junior apprentice brother Ling Yu." The woman who had defeated the alchemy holy beast smiled as she said, "We're students of the Emperor Path College. I'm called Yu Xian Machine and my little sister is called Yu Lo." Emperor Path College? That was the best college in the human domain. Zhang Yuzi and the others felt quite shocked. Zhang Yuzi smiled as he said, "So you're students of the Emperor Path College. You defeated a alchemy holy beast so easily." Yulu proudly smiled as she said, "Of course, my big sister is on the Emperor Path College rankings." Ling Yu said in shock, "Those who can be on the Emperor Path College rankings are all geniuses." Yulu happily laughed as she said, "My big sister is one." Yu Xian looked at Zhao Fu and felt that he looked quite familiar. He asked, "Who are you, sir? Have we met there before?" Zhao Fu had gone to the Emperor Path College before and had caused a great commotion. She had most likely seen Zhao Fu there, but she could not remember who Zhao Fu was. Hearing this, Zhao Fu said, "Perhaps we've met there before." Yu Xian smiled as he asked, "Can you tell me your name?" Zhao Fu replied, "I can't." Yu Xian slightly smiled and did not force the issue as he asked, "Where are you going?" Zhang Yuzi said, "We're going to Canwa City, which is near the Martial Path sect." Yu Xian said, We're going nearby as well. Let's go together. Zhang Yuzi nodded. Ling Yu happily nodded. On the way, Yu Xian looked at Zhao Fu with her beautiful eyes, feeling more and more curious about Zhao Fu. At that moment, a group of cavalrymen surrounded Zhao Fu's group. The leader was a handsome-looking young man who looked at Yu Xian and said, "I've heard of you before. You killed the Shui family's young master, right? The alchemy race's people are chasing after you. If you come with me, I can protect you and leave." Yu Xian lightly laughed as he said, "You? You're not even as strong as me, right?" The handsome-looking young man laughed as he said, "I'm called Kamada, a prince of a kingdom. Even though I'm not as strong as you, I have the ability to protect you." Chapter 3209. Book 1. Book 1. 154-inch. Also, look at the situation in the Heaven Awaken world. It will be conquered by our two worlds sooner or later. The sooner you become my woman, the sooner I can rely on you. Yu Xian lightly laughed. Keep dreaming. It's not too late for you to scram. The handsome young man did not say anything and looked at the people around him. The cavalrymen surrounding Zhao Fu and the others immediately gave off a powerful aura. These were not ordinary cavalrymen but cavalry corps, cavalry corps, cavalry corps. Yu Xian frowned. With her strength, she could escape, but her little sister and the others might die here. Yu Xian said, "This is between you and me, and it has nothing to do with the others. Let the others leave." The handsome young man laughed as he said, "On the contrary, I won't let them go. Either you become my woman or they die." Yu Xian's gaze became slightly cold as he looked at the handsome young man. Zhang Yuzi said, "Don't worry about us, we'll be fine." Facing these cavalrymen, he was not worried at all. With his strength, he could deal with some of them, and even if he could not, he still had Zhao Fu. With Zhao Fu's strength, Zhang Yuzi did not believe that he would lose. Yu Xian looked at Zhang Yuzi in surprise before turning and punching out, sending a wave of energy towards the handsome young man. A tall and skinny man immediately blocked in front of the handsome young man and used his shield to block Yu Xian's attack. The handsome young man roared, "Leave this bitch behind and kill everyone else." The cavalrymen obeyed and gave off a powerful aura as they charged towards Zhao Fu and the others like bolts of lightning. Yu Xian took the opportunity to take out the copper mirror and place it on his abdomen, and a powerful energy spread out, blocking the incoming cavalrymen. The cavalrymen gathered their power together like a spear and attacked that wave of power, causing it to weaken by half. Yu Xian immediately said, "You guys go first, I'll stay and stall them." Yulu said worriedly, "Big sis, be careful." Zhang Yuzi looked at Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu was the leader on their side because Zhao Fu was the strongest. Yu Xian asked curiously, "Why aren't you guys leaving yet?" Zhang Yuzi didn't reply and looked at Zhao Fu. "What do you plan to do?" Zhao Fu calmly said, "Leave it to me." Bang! The cavalrymen once again attacked, breaking through the power in front of them. Yu Xian was forced back a step, and the cavalrymen continued to charge at them. Zhao Fu stepped forward and threw a punch. Boom! It looked like an ordinary punch, but it contained immense power. The charging cavalrymen, whether they were people or horses, were all shattered, and blood sprayed everywhere, giving off a dense bloody smell. The handsome-looking man's body was also stained with blood, and he was so scared that his face was pale. The man protecting him looked shocked and immediately said, "Hurry up and leave." Zhang Yuzi and the others looked at this scene in shock. Zhao Fu had used a single punch to deal with so many cavalrymen so easily. Yu Xian came back to her senses and felt that this person was much stronger than her. Seeing that the handsome-looking man and the others wanted to run, Zhao Fu was about to continue when Yu Xian smiled and said, "Leave the rest to me." Hearing this, Zhao Fu did not continue to attack and stood his ground. Yu Xian stretched out a hand, and the copper mirror floated in front of her hand. She sent a powerful wave of power into it, and many rays of light containing immense power shot towards the handsome-looking man and the others. Chi, 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 the rays of light were like sharp blades that pierced through the cavalrymen's bodies. Pitiful cries sounded out as blood flew everywhere, and many cavalrymen died. Yu Xian flew forwards and blocked in front of the handsome-looking man as she smiled and said, "If you have the ability, say it again. If you have the ability, say it again." The handsome young man did not dare to do so and quickly said, "I was wrong. Please let me off this time. I can give you some compensation. Please let me off this time." The man who had been protecting the young man reminded, "He's a prince. Killing him won't do you any good." Yu Xian lightly harumphed and said, "Don't waste words. Since you dared to invade the heaven-awakened world, prepare to die. If such a person were to be released, he would definitely harm more people." Yu Xian struck out with his palm towards the handsome man, but the tall and skinny man blocked with his shield. Yu Xian controlled the copper mirror to fly into the sky and shot out a beam of light towards the tall and skinny man. The tall and skinny man hurriedly blocked, but at that moment, Yu Xian held a sword in his hand and pierced through the tall and skinny man's throat. Seeing that the tall, thin man was killed, the handsome man scrambled away. Yu Xian chased after him with a smile. The handsome man said in terror, "Don't kill me, or else you'll regret it. My kingdom won't let you off." Yu Xian laughed as he said, "I've already killed a young master of alchemy. I don't need another prince." Following this, Yu Xian stabbed out with his sword and ended the handsome young man's life. Yu Xian returned to the group and looked at Zhao Fu as he lightly laughed and said, "I knew you weren't simple, but I never thought you would be so powerful. I underestimated you. I'm sure you're quite famous in the human domain, right?" Now, everyone was quite curious about Zhao Fu's identity. To Spirit Blessing, this was like picking up a treasure. With the help of an expert like Zhao Fu, he did not have to worry at all. Zhao Fu said calmly, "He should be quite strong." Yu Xian looked at Zhao Fu and said, "I can't think of anyone who looks like you. Why are you hiding your appearance and not even willing to reveal your name?" Zhao Fu said, "This has nothing to do with you, leave quickly. I still have things to do." Zhao Fu walked forwards. Everyone else followed him in disappointment. Yu Xian lightly harumphed as he looked at Zhao Fu's back, thinking to himself that he had to find out Zhao Fu's identity. She did not know how dangerous her thoughts would be. After walking for a while, they finally arrived at the city. Zhao Fu said to Spirit Blessing, "Now that you're here, I've fulfilled my promise. It's time for me to go." Spirit Blessing smiled as he said, "Thank you for your protection. I'll immediately give you your reward." Zhao Fu said, "No need." Zhang Yuzi smiled as he said, "We're about to reach the Martial Path sect. Why don't you come to our sect? We'll treat you well and repay your kindness." Zhao Fu said, "No need." After saying this, Zhao Fu left. Spirit Blessing watched as Zhao Fu left and asked curiously, "Senior apprentice brother? Just what kind of person do you think he is?" Zhang Yuzi shook his head. "I don't know. I don't know if I'll be able to find out in the future." Yu Xian lightly laughed as he said, "We'll be going as well. We'll meet again if fate allows it." Zhang Yuzi nodded. Yu Xian immediately ran in the direction where Zhao Fu had disappeared. Yu Lu asked curiously, "Big sis, what are we doing?" Yu Xian smiled as he said, "I want to find out that fellow's identity. I feel that this family is quite familiar." Chapter 3210. Book 1, Chapter 155 translated by Hypersheep 325 edited by Mike. Here, however, by the time they caught up, Zhao Fu had already disappeared. Zhao Fu used the teleportation channel in this city to teleport towards the water region. After arriving at a new city, he could not use teleportation, so he could only fly. After flying in the sky for a while, Zhao Fu saw a group of escaping soldiers. They had pointy ears and exquisite facial features, and they were all elves. This was a group from the Elf Kingdom. The elf kingdom had been conquered by 2 alchemist factions, and many of them had escaped. There were around 20,000 of them, and their auras were not weak at all. A beautiful woman with a mature figure and a cold aura wearing a silver robe looked at Zhao Fu in the sky and slightly frowned. She was the most powerful person in the group and was responsible for the group's safety. She was also the Elf Kingdom's queen, and her name was Chris. Zhao Fu noticed Chris and gave a trace of a smile as he flew towards the group. Chris immediately called out, "Stop!" Zhao Fu came to the front of the group. Chris said coldly, "What do you want?" Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "Nothing much, I just came to see you." Chris coldly harumphed, "Kill him!" The dozens of guards gave off powerful auras as they charged at Zhao Fu, looking quite terrifying. Zhao Fu waved his hand and a powerful energy blasted out, sending the guards flying back. They crashed to the ground and coughed up a mouthful of blood. They were only injured, and Zhao Fu did not kill them. Chris's expression was quite serious. From the moment that Zhao Fu had flown over, she had understood that Zhao Fu was not ordinary, and it seemed that he was indeed quite powerful. Normally, Chris would definitely kill Zhao Fu, but they were a group that could be destroyed at any moment, so they had to avoid any accident. A bespectacled, voluptuous woman wearing a robe walked over and said, "Queen, this person dares to provoke us despite seeing so many of us. This person dared to provoke us even after seeing so many of us. He should have the ability to deal with us. You have to be careful." Her name was Tree, and she was a minister of the Elf Kingdom. Hearing this, Chris looked at Zhao Fu and said, "What is your purpose? If it's for money, I can give you some, but please leave immediately." Zhao Fu smiled and said, "I'm not interested in money. I'm more interested in you." Crazy felt a wave of humiliation and could not take it anymore. She took out a wooden staff and sent a wave of power into it, causing the top of the wooden staff to give off a green light. A huge tree immediately grew beneath Zhao Fu's feet, wrapping around Zhao Fu's body and preventing him from moving. This was the spirit tree, and it contained the power of absorption and suppression. It was specially used to subdue enemies. Crazy let out a sigh of relief, looked at Zhao Fu and said, "You dare to be so bold with just this bit of strength?" Zhao Fu smiled and struggled with all his might. The elven tree immediately split apart and flew away. Chris's expression changed. Zhao Fu smiled and said, "I don't have any purpose for coming here. I'm interested in you. As my woman, I'll let you go." Chris said furiously, "Don't even think about it." Chris once again waved her wooden staff and 10 or so massive wooden spikes containing immense force shot towards Zhao Fu, creating a gust of wind. Zhao Fu stretched out a hand and a massive wave of power spread out, easily blocking the wooden spikes. The others understood that with Chris's strength, she was not a match for Zhao Fu. A few princesses walked out and said, "We'll help you." A few princesses took out magic staffs and sent their power into them, causing the top of the magic staffs to give off green light. A slim princess released a green python and shot towards Zhao Fu. A concubine with exquisite facial features unleashed countless green leaves that shot out like flying daggers. A pure-looking concubine unleashed a wooden flying sword, which gave off a powerful aura as it flew towards Zhao Fu. A princess with a cold aura released wooden spikes and quickly flew towards Zhao Fu. Massive sounds rang out as shocking auras spread out. Although the attacks looked powerful, they were unable to break through Zhao Fu's defenses. Zhao Fu gave a trace of a smile as he said, "What other powers do you have? Hurry up and use them." Everyone's expressions were quite unsightly. They had attacked with their full strength but were unable to break through this person's defenses. This person was simply too powerful. Boom! Zhao Fu pushed out with his hand and a massive wave of power blasted out, causing the wooden spikes and leaves to shatter, and the women were forced back a few steps. Looking at the women, Zhao Fu smiled and said, "Looks like you're unwilling to listen. I'll kill everyone here." Zhao Fu raised a hand and a massive wave of demonic qi rushed into the sky. An enormous black door appeared, giving off waves of demonic chi. The powerful demonic chi caused everyone's bodies to feel cold and felt immense terror. The women did not doubt that this attack could kill them all. Chris stared at Zhao Fu and said furiously as she gritted her teeth, "Wait." Zhao Fu looked at Chris and asked, "What is it?" Chris said coldly, "I promise you that you'll spare them." Hearing that the queen had agreed to such a humiliating condition, everyone was furious and cried out, "Queen, don't agree. We'll fight him to the death." The princesses looked at the queen with pained expressions and cried out, "Big sister." Chris said with a cold expression, "Even if we all work together, we won't be a match for him. Don't waste your strength. Our elf kingdom's legacy cannot be broken. Your king sacrificed himself to protect us, so I can sacrifice myself to protect you." Hearing this, everyone felt incredibly touched and some people started to cry. Zhao Fu lightly laughed, "I've changed my mind. I want all of the women." "What?" Chris cried out angrily. Everyone furiously looked at Zhao Fu. If looks could kill, Zhao Fu would have been killed many times over. Zhao Fu laughed as he said, "I want all of the women." Boom! In the sky, a massive demonic gate opened and countless demons flooded out like a flood. The terrifying aura caused people to feel despair. The countless demons coiled in the sky, looking like a massive black cloud that covered the countless people, giving off a massive pressure. The demons savagely looked at the people on the ground, making them feel even more terrified. Chris angrily cried out, "Take back those demons, I promise you." Sensing this power of despair, everyone did not have the will to resist like before. They were all filled with fear and despair, and they silently lowered their heads, with a few angrily glaring at Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu lightly laughed, "Sure." The demon gate gave off a massive suction force, sucking all of the demons into it. The demon gate disappeared, and everything returned to normal. Everyone relaxed and did not feel as afraid as before. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.